There we go. We're live. Everybody, welcome in. We have a lot of people that were waiting for us to go live, so appreciate you guys packing in before we start up here. NFC West on the line tonight, EJ. First time in a while that I feel like we're getting legitimately two good playoff teams in our Thursday night matchup. A whole lot of different schematic nuances we're going to talk about, a whole bunch of different interesting personnel matchups we're going to talk about. But before we get into all that, and before we look at our two prize pick slips that we just filled out today, first things first, buddy, how you doing? What are you drinking?
I'm good. I am looking forward to this matchup as well. I'm watching Sherm talk to Tariq Woolen and Tariq Woolen tower over Sherm, which is just weird because very few corners tower over Sherm, but there you go. No, it's one of those things where you hit it at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we'd gotten this matchup, well, we did get this matchup earlier, like this is the right time. The 49ers are hot as hell. The Hawks have played very good ball. They've had couple of rougher weeks, but they are a team that seems like they can bounce back. They're playing at home, which, as you know, is a huge difference maker for them. It just feels like right time, right place, good Thursday game. I'm drinking the rest of the Full Sail I got, Full Sail Amber out of Hood River. So keeping it Northwest for a Northwest game. What are you drinking?
I still have, well, I have a variety of bottles around me, so I might be rotating a little bit tonight. But I'm starting off with my Drift, which I drank on the podcast this week. I was like, you know what? I haven't really dug into a good weeder in a while, so I feel like I'm going to sip on that tonight. And then I also got coffee, and I got LaCroix, and I got normal water. I'm not
Oh,
moving for the next 4 hours because we're going to have a hell of a football game on.
yeah, I have to move at some point because I have to feed the dogs because I just got a text that says feed the dogs.
Of
I
course.
was like, okay, cool. I will when I get the
Animals do
chance.
need to eat sometimes.
I will feed the puppies at some point, but I'll take a break and refresh the drinks as I normally do sometime mid game. But no, I too think this is gonna be a fun one. Would be a fun one to have tickets to. We could have gotten tickets to this game, but then again, we wouldn't be bringing it to all of you fine folks. So thanks for filing in on a Thursday night, hanging out with us. I do not believe we'll be talking about movies as much this week as we did last week because I
Hopefully not.
I
Hopefully not.
no, hopefully not. I believe there will be better football to talk about on the field for a larger percentage of the game. Not that the Rams game didn't have a fantastic ending, um, but
Now,
I think throughout we're going to get two teams that are going to hit it and hit it hard.
speaking of that, by the way, people might be wondering what this is behind me.
You
This,
should probably show them the slip first in
oh,
case
I
they want
will,
to.
because this is explaining the slip.
Good.
This is what you're going to see tonight, which is a five-man surface from Seattle. They play base a shitload. They're one of the teams that, even in situations where maybe they should be playing nickel, they don't. They really love, if you want to call it a 5-2, like Wade Phillips, you can call it a 5-2. You want to call it a 3-4 odd front, fine. Whatever terminology you want to use, 3-4 under, anything like that. They put five guys on the line. They're all big. They're all heavy. Two linebackers behind it. And they will do everything they can to try to stop the outside zone run game. Here's the problem. They're not very good at it. And they don't have Al Woods tonight. And the 49ers, when faced with five-man surfaces, I looked it up, their most common run this year is outside zone. Theoretically, they shouldn't be able to do that, but they're really, really good at it. 44 carries for a $197. That's 4.5 per carry on the year. They have 30 carries of inside zone for 218. That is 7.3 yards per carry. So despite the fact that they should be gapped out here anytime they're facing either a bear front, odd front, anything like that, their offensive line is still so incredibly athletic that they're still able to win front side behind Kittle. They could win backside behind Juszczyk. You know, you got Trent Williams working up to the will. You got the center guard combination working up to the Mike. They are very good at opening up this front side lane for the running back to attack the outside hip of the tight end and then either cut off that here, cut off that here, cut off that here, and then work in the backside. And then eventually, and this will reflect in the slip, eventually this backside kick out is just going to go to the flat. Purdy's going to come out here, hit that for easy yardage too. All of this leads me into the prize pick slip because I went big this week, EJ.
Oh, how big did you go?
I did a sixer, so it's only
Ooh.
$20 bet, $500 payout for six. So it's 25 to 1 odds on this. So I did take Kyle Juszczyk over 7.5 receiving, because I do think they're going to run outside zone over and over and over again and then get him out into the flat. I do think that Christian McCaffrey is going to get over 78.5 rushing, because the Seahawks run defense already wasn't good even without Al Woods. So I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a monster night. I did take Brandon Ayuk over 48.5 receiving, because at some point they're going to go deep off play action, and I think Ayuk is going to be the beneficiary of that. We don't need him to get a whole lot of catches. I just need him to get like one long bomb, and I'll probably hit the over there. I took Purdy actually under 205.5 passing, not because he couldn't do it. I just don't think they're going to need him to do it. I think they're going to run, and then just, take a couple shots where they need to. So I took under 205.5 for him. I took Talanoa Hufanga over 4.5 tackles and assists, because I think that Geno is going to throw like crazy, and I think he's going to clean up a lot of these kind of intermediate targets. And then I took Geno over 33.5 passing attempts, because I do think they're going to fall behind and have to throw their asses off. Now, EJ also has a slip. So we kind of got dueling slips this week. He also took Purdy under 205.5 receiving for the same reason I did. He took Ayuk under 7 targets, which makes sense. Don't think they're going to have to throw that much tonight. He took McCaffrey over $116.5 rushing plus receiving. Ambitious, definitely ambitious, but he went for it. DK over 8.5 targets, because again, they're going to have to throw a lot. And then Jordan Brooks, assuming the Niners are running the ball 30 plus times tonight, over 10 tackles plus assisted tackles. Seems like pretty easy money. So these are our 2 slips. Again, I'll give you a good look there. And then here's my 6-pack that we got going. If you guys want to tail these, or if you think that I'm an overambitious idiot and you want to go against it, feel free. Over on Prize Picks, if you use promo code BOOTLEG, they will match your deposit, anything up to $100. So if you want to put down another $20 slip, try to get $500, or really whatever you want to deposit, they'll match it for you again using promo code BOOTLEG. We once again thank them for sponsoring us and making this whole stream possible. So, all that information on the table, EJ, considering how much they run the ball, how successfully they run the ball, and how awful Seattle is at stopping the run, do you give them even a remote chance of winning this game?
A remote chance, absolutely, because they are playing at home in front of the Hawks' nest. They have the ability to crank it up. They're going to have to tonight. There is no way they win this game without some really ambitious breaks, a couple of Tariq Woolen picks, some weird stuff. They need extra possessions. They need good bounces. They have to be really tight with ball security. They can't be giving the 49ers extra possessions, because quite frankly, the 49ers don't need any extra possessions to beat them. They are a team that is red hot right now. They just can't seem to get off the groove. It really doesn't matter what they're doing. It's all working, whether it's passes in the flat to use check, which is I'm here for passes in the flat to use check, because he's such a valuable weapon there. And up until the last 3 or 4 weeks, they haven't really used him. Purdy, we've talked about him endlessly for the last 2 weeks on the podcast. CMC is running as hard as I've seen him run since college. He is just rampaging. We've seen the speed, we've seen the hands, but we have not seen him just breaking through tackles like he did last week. High knees, the whole bit. Kittle, of course, is always Kittle. And then, Debo banged up, got it. Ayuk, still a threat, especially on those deep play actions. He's going to get 1 or 2. They're not going to throw to him 8 or 10 times a game. Just not really the game plan for San Francisco, and they don't need it to be, because everything they're doing right now is working. That offensive line, we talked about it a lot. It's opening huge holes, and Seattle doesn't do well against that. So if San Francisco chooses to, quote unquote, keep it simple and just run over the Seahawks until they can stop them, especially with Al Woods out, good old Captain Thigh Arms, that would have been
Thigh Arms.
Have you seen Al Woods'
Oh, they're
arms?
massive. They're massive.
They're about the size of my chest. It's ridiculous. So anyways, he would have been that guy in the middle, clogging up, gap and a half pretty easily, and then letting other people do their job. Without that, oh boy, you've got a bunch of guys who are fast on the edges, like Uchenna Nwosu and Darrell Taylor, but they're not particularly stout. And the 49ers tackles are very stout. It's going to be tough for them to hold the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to rotate and keep guys fresh, and You're going to have to be really assignment sound, and I'm not sure they can hold that for a full 60 minutes.
The one thing you mentioned that I think is a little bit of a wild card here is the stadium. Um, we were there week 1 when Russ came back, and maybe the Russ return was an outlier because it's Russ. That took 2 days for me to recover from hearing wise, and Brock Purdy in his second ever start is going to be dealing with that in prime time with the division on the line. I can understand that having an effect. Also, a big reason why I think they're going to run the ball like crazy because it's going to be so damn loud. But yeah, the 12th man is real. I hope to one day to go to Kansas City to compare it directly because that was a visceral, physical experience to hear that kind of sound. Getting into a couple super chats here. Paxman for $2. Thank you, Pax, for kicking it off tonight. Need a Geno TD, CMC 70 rushing, and DK 70 receiving. That's actually fairly likely, I would say. TDs are kind of tough to bank on, but I don't really think they're going to be able to run the ball in the red zone all a lot. So if they are going to score, and I think they will score at some point, it'll probably be with a Geno TD. So yeah, I feel pretty good about that. Jared for $2. Brett, you're still left ear only. Fuck you, Jared. I know I'm not. I triple checked, but you're trying to scare me anyway. I can't believe all I had to do was click mono. Like I am such a moron, EJ. It's been 3 weeks.
I plead the fifth.
I was like, you can't be serious. And I don't even know how that. Like, I guess I updated OBS at some point, and it just unchecked itself or something. But
yeah, mine does that. Mine, the power assist. We use a inline amplifier for our Focusrites, and whenever my computer resets, it just unclicks that switch basically. And so I'll go to do my first thing on the microphone after Windows has updated itself, and I was like, I can't hear you, and I'm like, what? I didn't change anything. And then I click. So yep, computers, all kinds of fun.
Emily Dodona or Dodona, I apologize, it's one of those two, I'm assuming, but Emily for $10. Thank you, Emily. I need some fantasy help really quickly. Do I start Kenneth Walker, Latavius Murray, or Zonovan Knight? I'd probably go Zonovan Knight.
Oh, Bam, for sure.
Personally,
sorry,
I'd go Zonovan
Bam,
Knight.
Bam / Zonovan Knight.
He's looked really nice.
The last 3 weeks, I just want to throw everybody back to a tweet that I put out last year during the college season, and I was like, Bam damn Knight.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted one of his clips from college, and he didn't come out that year. He waited until this last draft to come out. Really, really talented guy who, again, more fuel for the fire of don't draft a running back high. You can always find a really quality runner or many of them later on down in the draft. Bam Knight, like the poster child for don't need to spend a high pick. They got Breece Hall, and look, Breece Hall is a great player, but Bam Knight's looked really, really good in action for the Jets the last 2 to 3 weeks. I think he's the third highest rated running back in football for the last 3 weeks. So
he's been really damn good.
When we say good, we mean real good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get him at a value draft wise. And there are always guys like that, but I would start Bam Knight. He's been searing hot lately.
I am Lion O. What a name. For $5. Thank you, I am Lion. Quick help, full PPR. Need to start 2. Ayuk versus Seattle. Christian Watson versus Rams. Aaron Jones versus Rams. Well, the Rams have a pretty good run defense. Still a pretty good run defense. I know the Raiders ran on them a little bit, but that was more of a volume proposition than anything else. I would... oh, God, that's tough.
It seems like a toss-up to me between Watson and Ayuk. Either one could have a really big day. They're both capable.
God.
I would gamble.
I might go double receiver.
Yeah.
I might go double receiver. And I know we're worried about, like, I'm sorry. I love Jalen Ramsey. Not the same guy this year. He's just not. And the rest of the secondary isn't super great either. I would probably go double receiver there personally. Ayuk and Christian Watson. Not that I don't love Aaron Jones, but the Rams' run defense is like one of the few good things about the team. So I'm a little bit reticent there. So I'll go double receiver. Find a cure for $2. Brett, thoughts on the gifts so far? Is this a reference to the old-fashioned candle, which smells absolutely wonderful? Please let me know if that's what you're referencing. I think that's what you're referencing. But that candle is wonderful. The one that Asa sent me. Another patron of the show. Matthew Wright for $10. Happy Niners week. Love all the Thursday streams, but I've had this one in particular circled on my calendar, of course, because why wouldn't you? Can't wait to crack open some beers and watch Brett curse my favorite team. Well, I did pick the Niners to win this one handily, so knowing my luck, we're going to lose by 10. And I have I told the NFL if the Niners win this game, I'm doing a Brock Purdy video for the NFL channel. So I have a lot of eggs in this basket, EJ. I have a lot of eggs in this basket.
That's okay. It's a good basket to have eggs in. For those of you that haven't been able to see a game live in Seattle, it is one of the places I would head to see a game at some point, whether or not you care about the Seahawks. It's a beautiful stadium.
Easy to get to. So easy to get to. Oh, my God.
Great food around it. And the atmosphere is terrific. It is one of the loudest stadiums I've ever been in, and it rocks pretty regularly. Good team, bad team. 12 people show up from all over and just light that place up. And tonight's not going to be any exception. It is cold here, but it was really clear last night. It was about 27 this morning when I woke up. So good and frosty, but just dead clear, which is really rare for us in the winter. It's nice to see the sun again. So it'll be chilly tonight. Won't be great later in the game when folks are getting hit. I know it's pretty easy to stay warm playing football, but for guys coming off the bench, they will literally be cold. Kickers are not going to love it. Balls are going to be pretty solid. But it's not super windy. There hasn't really been any precipitation, so the field's not slick. Like it's a pretty fair December condition set for a game in Seattle. But we'll see how it plays out.
Do we know if Sherm's raising the 12th man flag, by the way, or is it somebody else? I mean, he's there. It would make sense.
It's true, but I don't think he is.
Missed opportunity.
Well, maybe. He's been hanging out.
I know he still lives up there, but.
All right, chat. Yeah, he actually lives right over in Maple Valley, which is maybe. Strangely enough, our buddy Travis Wingfield, who works for the Dolphins, used to live in Maple Valley.
Oh, I thought he lived over in the eastern part of the state. He's a Wazoo guy, so.
Well, yeah, he went to Wazoo, but he lived right before he took the job with the Dolphins and moved to Miami. He lived in Maple Valley, which is maybe 50 miles from my house. Not super far. He's raising the Niners flag too.
That's right. I forgot. This is the Sherm Bowl.
Matthew. It is a little bit of the Sherm Bowl. Can't be the Sherm revenge game unless he's having revenge against himself. But
that's funny.
Yeah.
I got some more super chats here. Icelandic Fart Police, welcome back. Hi guys, tiny snowstorm in my town. Took me 2 hours to go 15 miles. Good Lord, that's like California time. And get home in time for the stream. Question for you. When your teams, Broncos for me, suck, who's your alternate team? For me, it's the Niners and Shanahan. Unfortunately, both of my teams suck consistently, so I never really get a break from it, to be perfectly honest. Very rarely are the Texans and Bears good at the same time, and the last time they were good at the same time, I think it was 2012, when they played each other in the rain in Chicago, and the game was so physical and brutal that both teams beat each other up and ruined each other's season in one night. So I don't get to be happy personally. What about you, EJ?
I don't team hop. Well, that's not true. I team hop every week. It's my job now. And I'm a football fan. Like, I love this game tonight as much as I love a Bears game, as much as I love a really good, who knows, Lions Jets game coming up this week. Like, I love good football, and I don't really care where I find it. It can be the XFL, the USL, the NFL, college, European League. I like good football. It's fun to watch. And there are great storylines on every team, and being a storyteller and a story writer, that's what I'm looking for in football is what's the game behind this particular game. And there's the X's and O's piece, and there's the players piece, and then there's all those sort of backstory pieces, the relationship pieces. So I find good football pretty much anywhere. I don't, there isn't one team I sort of fall back on and wish myself to be a fan of because they were super successful. If anything, I maybe have a few teams that I lean the other way on that I'm not so unhappy to see stop winning, because I was just sort of bored of them again from the story aspect. And what that does is allow air to come to other really good stories in the league when it's been focused on one team or set of teams, either in a division or a conference for a long time. And when that goes away, there's this vacuum, and other stories sort of rush in to fill it. And you learn more about different players and coaches and everything else. So that's the way I do it, because look, Bears haven't won anything significant in a very long time. And that's okay. I don't mind watching them because they still have good stories, but I don't have that backup awesome super team that I wish I was a fan of.
Jack Hunter for £5. Welcome back, Jack. Question for you both. If the Seahawks will stay in base, what is the purpose on H motion? Would the 49ers not just be better running split zone? So a lot of the times, if you want it to hit earlier, instead of kind of doing like a wind back, which, sometimes can cause a little bit of a traffic jam and it changes the running back's angle. So if you don't want to do a wind back, you'll just motion it, and then you'll cut this and have it hit earlier so that it's a little bit harder for the jack to then kind of flow with it. Because if you wind back, sometimes the jack is chasing this tackle. They call it chase the heel line. So you get on the heel line of the tackle and then just like literally stay on his ass. But if you kick him out earlier, sometimes it just widens that cutback lane a little bit more. So it's something that Shanahan's always liked to do, where it's like, if you know that it's a 80% chance that this is cutting back anyway, you might as well just make the cutback lane as big as possible. And then sometimes that actually makes it a little bit easier, because then if the jack starts like kind of going over the top and like really playing against that to shut down the cutback lane, it makes it super easy for Juszczyk to then just like run right by him into the flat. So that's why they like to do that, personally. And a lot of teams that have fullbacks or H-backs, anything like Juszczyk, have started to do that over the last 5 to 6 years, just because Shanahan's always had a lot of success doing it that way. Hope that answered your question. Jared for $5. Curious if Denzel Ward laying out Jamar Chase on a screen would be eligible for shot of the week, or would it be disqualified because Ward lost his helmet? I mean, as long as nobody got hurt, I don't know why it wouldn't be allowed. The Milano hit was legal, but we just didn't put it in because Mike White's organs got rearranged, But other than that, it was legal. And people were saying he should have been like fined or suspended. I'm like, I don't know about that.
What?
Yeah, Jets fans were pretty mad about it. But I'm like, well, shoulder.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're going to literally put your shoulder in somebody's midsection, put your head to the side and wrap up, which is exactly what Milano did, that's how they teach form tackling. In fact, Seattle has been teaching that kind of tackling in their defense for about 7 years, even longer than that now. Mm-hmm. They have a drill that much of the rest of the NFL copied when the Seahawks were basically leaders in avoiding hits to the head, because they said, guys, look, you have a strike zone, and defenders will bitch about that. Like, defenders are like, I ought to be able to hit the guy anywhere, right? And Seattle coaches early on drilled it into them that, look, this is the way the league's going to call it. The strike zone is from the armpits to about the top of the hips, right? And if they're bent over, yeah, that can be this big. That is indeed what you're aiming for. And they basically sold it as, look, professional pitchers are aiming at an area that's a lot smaller, right, from a lot farther away. And yes, it's a dynamic game, but you're going to have to become masters of hitting people basically below the armpit and above the hip. And we need you to do it a certain way. You can't lead with the crown of your helmet. Head's got to be to one side, got to be, shoulder first impact, the whole bit. And they really complained bitterly for a while, from what I understand. And then they got good at it. And guess what? They never got tagged for hits to the head. When the rest of the league was sort of learning through that officiating change, and they saw it as a major advantage. And since then, other teams have been like, hey, what'd you do to get your guys focused in on on that midsection area, and how can we teach that? And that's
Tackling
gone all the way.
donuts. That's what it is.
Yep,
Those
that's
tackling donuts that you roll and then
mm-hmm,
like it's like the perfect aim point. Like those are
100%.
amazing.
Yeah,
The only tackle that I think defenders still struggle with, and I think they always will, just because it's such a bang bang thing, and I don't even think human reaction time is fast enough, is a quarterback sliding. That's the only one that I don't think is ever gonna get fixed, because it's just
yeah, and really short running backs who love to bow their heads. Right,
yeah,
you
yeah.
get a guy like 5'8", and he bends over and puts basically the crown of his like all you're seeing at that point is his shoulder pads and the crown of his helmet as your defender. So you either hit him head to head, or you get speared, right? It's spearing.
Like
We used to
Trent
call it.
Richardson, 5'8", 235.
Uh-huh.
Like what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, and that's the one that I don't have a great answer for, because offensive players are supposed to be called for it too. They never are.
Never.
You never ever see it.
I don't remember the last time it got called for a running back when it happens like every play. But anyway,
and it's very difficult for a defender at that point,
yeah.
because there's literally nothing to do. You can't really get lower than a guy like Devin Singletary, who's like 5'7", 5'8". When he lowers his head and he's already got his knees bent, like you can't get underneath him. You can kind of push him down from the
there's
top.
nothing you can do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Levi Snyder for $10. Another Snyder here in the chat. Criticism came out for playing Jimmy Ward at nickel during a contract year. Doesn't this raise his value? Does his success make him the best cover safety in the NFL? I think most personnel departments, I would say, that scouted Jimmy even coming out of college knew that he had corner and safety versatility, and he's flip-flopped throughout pretty much his entire career between he's played outside corner, he's played nickel, he's played free safety, he's played strong safety, but when they were more of a quarters heavy team, where strong safety still handles a lot of coverage duty, and it's not just like the typical Cam Chancellor strong safety you think of. He's played everything. At some point in his career, he's played everything. So I do think that in terms of like the term cover safety, it's just DB at this point. Like there's so many hybrid guys in the NFL that are asked to play both types of role. And remember, like in quarters, at once you're like past 12 yards, quarters is just zero, because it's one-on-one down the field and you got no help. So if you have, that's why personally I've always advocated for, if you really want to play a whole lot of quarters, it's better to take a corner that knows how to tackle, or at least isn't afraid of tackling, and convert him to safety, because they have better natural cover skills. And it's not just I'm playing in the post and I'm playing off a quarterback's eyes. It's I know how to actually cover a receiver, because that's what quarters is. Like it's not zero, but it ends up playing out like zero a lot, because it's just one-on-one down the field. So yeah, I would say Jimmy Ward's very valuable because he has corner skills in a safety, and it's hard to find at times.
And he's playing really well later into his career, as well as he has played in the last 3 or 4 years. He has played in the last 3 or 4 weeks. He has had an extremely hot month. If you go back to the 49ers tape for the last 4 games, 3.5, 4 games, you start to see him come on. And he is not only, when we say glue guy, we typically are talking about a guy with sort of blue collar skills that hold something together. He's a glue guy in the fact that he's everywhere in that defense, up near the line, playing seams, deep, playing shallow flats against wide receivers who are out doing little hooks to, pull things down. And then again, being able to break off and still tackle running backs. He's everywhere in that versatility that you're alluding to. He's playing super high level football. I was a huge fan of his coming out in the draft because of that versatility. It was all about landing spot and whatever. Jimmy Ward and D'Amico Ryans is like chocolate and peanut butter, man. It's so perfect. D'Amico Ryans knows what he can use Jimmy Ward for and what he's going to get out of him, and that's a perfect match.
Thinking Football made a good point in chat. Quarters isn't a deep protection coverage; it's a leverage coverage, and that's exactly right. Because when people think of, I guess Madden calls it cover 4, and it's just like 4 zone drops, and it looks like, oh, we're just trying to keep everything underneath. That's not how quarters actually functions in real football. a lot of the times it's just different ways of as he mentioned, leverage, in terms of it's like east-west brackets, and then unfortunately sometimes based on how things play out, you might get an outside leverage corner carrying a slot receiver up the field who then has free access to the post. Oh, are they taking this?
Almost.
Oh, I should put up
Almost.
the score bug. We just kicked off right now.
Yeah.
But
I
like the
forgot.
only way to like stop deep balls is you play country cover 3 where the corners are bailing like crazy and the post safety's 25 yards down the field. That's how you stop the deep ball. You don't play quarters. Quarters is aggressive. Quarters is in your face, and you need to have the right dudes to run it. Look at Minnesota as an example.
I forgot that tonight was an action green game.
I like it.
I wish I could. I don't.
It's my favorite. Now I want the old school throwbacks next year, but
No, yeah, that's the one of the best uniforms in the NFL. Period. But the action green with the navy blue is better than just straight crayon action green, which is a bit, well, it's a lot much. It's not a bit much. And I love action green as an accent color, but as a whole like highlighter yellow jersey color,
it gives me 2012 prime Legion of Boom versus like Kaepernick 49ers vibes, and I love it.
What was I need to have my slip up so that I can, well, not my slip because I can't put a slip in, but a slip that I would have put in should I, coulda, woulda put one in.
That I put in from my California residence, because we can do prize picks here, but we can't actually bet on lines. California, I don't know.
Because California, that's cool. Because California.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Wow.
Is that Alshire sniffing out the screen? I think it was.
Well, Dre was right there with him, but yeah, Dre Greenlaw. I put out a tweet last week that said, if the 49ers defense was a movie, I promise we wouldn't be talking about movies, and we're not. It's just a movie title. If the 49ers was a movie title, 49ers defense was a movie title, it would be Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because they just don't let up at any level.
Yeah.
Like they have dudes and play with energy and speed at every level. They are ferocious. They've invested a ton in their defensive line. Whoa, speaking of,
Oh, God, he dropped it. Oh, okay. Gino, that was dangerous, bud.
Perfect example. It's great when you're talking about something and it happens on the field. Defensive line. San Francisco's invested a ton. Javon Kinlaw's not even out there. He's coming back next week. Even without him, that's the kind of rush you get, which is basically a jailbreak rush that Gino has to sidestep to make any play at all, which is amazing. But then you've got really fast linebackers in Warner and Dre Greenlaw who are right on top of that pass and almost pick it off. So, and I'm pretty sure, even though we don't have the all-22, that the corners and the safeties were in good coverage too. So it's everything everywhere all at once, and it's very difficult to play against.
Ooh, are they bringing it here? Lining up with 8 on line of scrimmage? Yep, they brought it.
They sure are. Gino got loose, but
Lockett wants a flag. I don't think he's going to get it. That ball was like 10 yards away.
Yeah, Gino wants one too, but yeah.
I don't think he believed they were actually going to bring it. I think they were only protecting with 6.
They did, though. And Gino makes a great play here to be able to get anything.
Oh, no, they protected. They had 7. They had 7. Okay. I thought it was an extra +1 that came, but it was just a nice little loop.
That's a pretty good precursor for what a lot of this game is going to look like for Seattle. It's going to be see what you can withstand, get away from whatever is first, and see if you can still make a play against what's left, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Like there just aren't many guys to pick on. I did a little hit for Bleeding Green Nation, which is the Eagles pod on SB Nation today. For the upcoming Bears game. They wanted to talk to me about the Bears, so I was talking to them. John, the host, was like, so where do you think the Bears could pick apart the Eagles defense? And it's like, maybe one of the safeties down the seam, maybe. Like that's all you got.
It's about it.
And it's the same way with the 49ers, except it's not one of the safeties down the seam. I mean, maybe you get Tayshaun Gibson because if you can get him in a speed matchup, maybe get Marquise Goodwin on Tayshaun Gibson. I'd be trying to get that if I was Shane. If I was Shane Walter trying to put together an offensive plan, I would try to be isolating Marquise Goodwin on Gibson because that's not a great rotation for the Niners. But that's a pretty thin amount of stuff to bring into the game plan to say, let's get this to happen, because it's going to happen maybe 3 times in an entire football game.
Yeah.
All the rest of the stuff, it's like, oh, maybe we should go outside. There's a lot of speed. Linebackers are going to be there. Defensive line's probably going to shut the corner. And oh yeah, by the way, the safeties and the corners all hit too. So
good luck.
Maybe not outside. Let's go inside. Oh, have you seen the middle of their defensive line? Yeah, maybe not. Let's go deep. You think you're going to have time for that? Like,
no.
You really want Geno taking 7-step drops? I don't.
Ralph P in chat. Wait a goddamn minute. California residents can participate on Prize Picks. Yes, I am in Orange County, and I can tell you from personal experience for about a year now, you absolutely can. Anywhere in California, you can.
Yeah, they are one of those happy blued out or grayed out states on the Prize Picks map that says yes you can, whereas
there's actually a whole bunch of states where it's like sports betting isn't legal, but like sites like Prize Picks are, because it's considered fantasy.
It's totally, we're the opposite. We can now do sports betting on games like score, over under, things like that at casinos, which we couldn't do before. You basically had to do it out of state, but we cannot do daily fantasy in any way right now.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be like 5 or 6 years before the entire country kind of gets on the same page about this. It's only 22 states that even allow just normal sports betting at this point. It's like less than half.
Yeah.
All right, Brock Purdy's first drive here. Again, 21 personnel. Probably expecting some sort of zone run here because they love to do that against these fronts. There we go. Outside zone toss.
That's really well defended by the Hawks.
Well as you can hope for.
They knew that was coming. Clint Hurt, who's the DC for the Hawks. I think he's going to play well against the script. It's going to be fascinating. I mean, obviously Clint's not on the field tonight. Clint's guys are going to play well against the script. We'll see how they do against the off-script stuff, which Purdy has been excelling at for the past 2 weeks. So that could be an easy and large difference in this game.
Oh, there's the play that
good pressure.
Built
Get him
the
down.
Dolphins offense.
All right.
The wheel off motion was not Tyreek Hill like how Miami runs. They did it with Kyle Juszczyk because of course they did.
Yeah. And that's going to be a matchup to watch all night. Jordan Brooks, the linebacker who the Hawks took high in the draft, probably a couple of rounds early, according to most folks, who's played very, very well. He's a rangy tackler against Kittle, right? Kittle is big, strong dude with the ball in his hands. Jordan Brooks is really fast. He is one of those middle linebackers that can cover in space, and he's going to have to, because it won't just be Kittle. He'll be matched up on Juszczyk tonight. He'll be matched up on slot receivers.
Ooh, stretch for it? No, he's about a yard short.
I got to say, so far, the Hawks defense playing fired up. The offense looked maybe a little intimidated. We'll see if they hit their groove, but the Hawks defense so far, they've been in tight coverage on everything and in the right place.
I don't think
I almost bet.
Probably not.
Doubt it. They're in their own end. It's early. Yeah.
Good stop.
Like a punt.
Good tackle.
Well, good series. Good 3 plays out of the Hawks. All of them were very sound. Again, I think they'll play well for the first 15 or 20, which are the quote unquote script plays. After that, and especially with halftime adjustments, I imagine the Hawks are going to struggle with Shanahan's halftime adjustments.
Let me catch up on super chats here because we're a few behind. Autumn for $5. Semester done. I'm alive. We vibing. Congratulations. Wait, December 15th? Yeah, actually getting out pretty early. I remember when I was in school, we wouldn't get out till like 4 days before Christmas. It was super annoying. I don't know why. So, that's pretty generous winter break, I would say. It's weird because they have Brady, but this week feels like a trap game. Also, Burrow for MVP even without Pro Bowl. I think it's natural. It's natural to feel like it's a trap game, especially if you're a Bengals fan. You just assume everything's a trap game because you're conditioned to. But I would still heavily, heavily, heavily favor Cincy over Tampa this week. I don't even know what the line is. I'm taking Cincy over. I really am. Like, it would have to be like 13 points for me to think Tampa was going to cover that. The teams are just in completely different phases right now. It's not even close roster wise. Thomas Bloomberg for $2. Non PPR. Do I start Etienne or Walker? Shit. Sorry, I didn't get to this till after the game started. I would have said Etienne, to be perfectly honest. I hope that's what you did. I just fingers crossed here. Sean for $2. Non PPR. Pacheco, Etienne, Ayuk, running back and flex. I would have gone Pacheco and I would have gone Pacheco and Ayuk. So hopefully that's what you did as well. Etienne against that Cowboys defense, which is very, very good against the run, like top 5 in DVOA, like run defense DVOA, and they're just a really good team in general. I would struggle to play him into that compared to Ayuk tonight. So Pacheco and Ayuk would have been my picks. Find a cure, not the gifts. I meant 2 of the gifts I sent should have been delivered today. Oh, you know what? I thought I saw an Amazon truck on my street. Maybe that was for me. That didn't ring my doorbell. So maybe that was for me.
So someone's enjoying your packages.
Yeah, Nikki will pick them up when she comes in.
If they're still there.
If they're still there. They should be. Our street's pretty safe.
Yeah. I mean, unless I'm in town, and then it's a little bit less safe.
I had a delivery out there for like 2 days one time when I was gone for a game, and Nikki was on a work trip. And like a box was just sitting out there for like 2 days. Nobody touched it. I was like, okay.
All righty then.
All right, Seahawks next drive starting out here. Let's see if Gino can get something going.
Oh, God.
No. Okay, well, he got out of it. I don't know if
yeah, he hit a tight end with it, so
but it was interesting. He like spun around and threw it backhand.
Gave it up. No, I don't want it. Get it out of my hands. These guys are getting here too quickly. And Amazon just showed a graphic of all the first round or early round investment that the 49ers have made in the defensive line, and it is significant. This is a focus of how they've built their team, and it is where they have spent high draft capital, and it shows. They have fire breathers on the front 4.
I can't tell if Fant was supposed to chip and release for a screen there, or if he was actually supposed to block those. Oh, my God. This Niners defensive line is kicking their ass so far.
It's kind of like watching a lion go after the sort of smaller, weaker ones at the back of the pack right now. Like, the 49ers are attacking on defense, and the Hawks are just trying to stabilize.
Good Lord. I'd say it's like looking at the Lions go after the guests at the zoo. Like, it's not even close.
No. They're resetting the line of scrimmage pretty much instantly. Like, the white jerseys are across the line of scrimmage and in folks' faces. Doesn't matter whose face is. Like, if Gino's keeping it, it's his face. If he's handing it off, it's the other guy's face. All he's seeing is a wall of white right now. He's got no sort of friendly jersey backs to go after. Oh, Gino had time there. It's a good check down.
I think he's already rattled. They've been after him every play.
Yeah, his base didn't look great. He certainly didn't look cool, calm, and collected there. He was trying to go for the first down. That's a down and distance thing. He wanted more, but he also doesn't want to make a mistake. And he's still sort of remembering the start of last week's game, which was disastrous against the Panthers. He threw a bad pick first series. Yeah. And it does tend to get into a quarterback's head, right? Or a defensive back's head if they give up a long touchdown in the first series. Like, it lingers.
I think you can tell when a quarterback's internal clock starts at 3 seconds and then they start getting to that 1.5 second where they're like, I got nothing beyond 1.5. I think he's already at 1.5.
Well, he's had guys in his face at 1.5 already, or 2. I mean,
even on 7-man protection, like it's
no. The they are coming across the line in a hurry, and there's blood in the water. They know. Football teams know. Usually takes about a half to figure out who's who and who's winning. It's taken 2 series so far to figure out that the 49ers are overpowering the Seahawks offensive line. And if the Seahawks offensive line can't sort of grit their teeth and do something about that, it's going to be a very ragged offensive performance for the Hawks.
Thinking Football says, I seriously wonder how much you can play K9 against this D. I know most backs are going to struggle, but his complete lack of pass pro and want to make the most on every play worries me. I think that's why we've seen Travis Homer get some snaps early on so far. I think anytime 25 is on the field, I'm assuming pass, because he is their best pass protector. Even when everybody's healthy, he's their best pass protector. And I think that is a massive tip-off that a pass play is coming is when 25 is on the field, because he's the only one they trust to hold up here.
Did you see Homer's run last week? So Travis Homer back, and you know the one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The one where he hopped a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then plowed through like 3 or 4 more. Yeah, Travis Homer, one of those guys that I had good expectations for, and he's been way better than that in his time in Seattle. So
he's one of those guys who's going to play for a long time just for pass protection and special teams. That's his gig,
and he can run it too. Yeah. That's the thing is you see him, and when he's gotten a chance to produce in Seattle, he's made good on that. And I was thinking about it today in terms of, we talked about it last season a lot. We haven't talked about it this season as much. Those really deep running back rooms.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, you got to have the third guy. If you're going to be considered in my really deep running back rooms, you got to have the third guy. The poster child is the Browns, right? They've got Chubb, and then they've got Hunt, and then Dearness Johnson comes on, gets 125 yards in relief in his first start. The Colts were there, interestingly enough. They were 4 deep for a while, and they might still be 3 deep, but they've traded Naheem Hines, and but it's like, do you consider the Hawks to be a really deep running back room? Because they have like 4 dudes that, aren't necessarily names, but can get it done on a given game. They've all had those games individually. Do they do it game after game? No, not necessarily, but it's sort of like, I hadn't really considered that Seattle might be there, but kind of are.
I would take their running back room over several others, to say the least. Oh, CMC. All right, getting another 8 there.
See, I'll take that because I have the combo on my.
You took the harder one. I think the rushing plus receiving is harder tonight. Personally,
we'll see, because basically it's any kind of production, and they have leaned on him, and he has produced. And if he continues to produce, again, they're not going to have to go farther than that. They're not going to have to dial up crazy double moves for Ayuk, because CMC is going to be ripping off 7.5 to 9.5 per play.
We can only hope.
That's good enough to win.
All right. Really, really condensed formation here. We think we're running it again. Kind of looks like it.
Yep. Yeah.
There it is. Oh my God.
Yeah. How many yards?
Remember we were talking about zone running as 5-man surfaces?
Remember when I took the over for yards? Oh, he's holding his hand though. That's not good. Come on. Don't do that. CMC is one of those guys that I always want to see stay healthy. Did you see the size of the hole?
Yeah, Harris on the backside.
Look at that angle right there. Brutal. Like, that's a 7-yard wide hole if you're looking at it diagonally. Like,
Shelby Harris got reached by Trent and just it was ugly. It was ugly.
It was ugly. If you're a 49ers fan, that was pretty. If you're a Hawks fan, that was ugly.
Oh, really nice job for him to kind of slam on the brakes and pick his way through to get something out of nothing there.
Yeah, just running so hard over the last 2 to 3 weeks, putting his head down, driving behind the pads, doing all the things that you want to see a running back do, that we just, either through health or just through, hey, I'm stuck in Carolina, Matt Rule and before, not the new Steve Wilkes Carolina, where they kind of look like this, which is sort of a bummer. I realize that some players just need fresh starts in fresh places. If they lose, so Brandon Moe's down.
They're already down Al Woods. They have no other nose on the rock. What are you going to do? Play Shelby Harris or Puna at nose?
Yeah, they're that's
You can't you
that's
can't
gonna be
run
rough.
you can't run your base personnel package if he's out. They have nobody else.
No, they're gonna have to make some massive adjustments if he stays down. That's not a good injury for Seattle. They can't afford it.
So their other defensive tackles, they have Shelby Harris and they have Puna, who both play end for them tonight. You have Q Jeff, who's not a nose. You got LJ Collier, not a nose,
Not even close.
and Miles Adams. If they
No.
don't have a nose and they're going up against a team that plays more 21, 12, and 13 personnel and 22 personnel than literally everybody else in the league, it's a fucking wrap. Game
Yeah.
over. Game
Yeah,
over.
this might be one of those streams where it's just constant little screenshots and gifs of Brett and I going, "Ooh, damn."
Like that's oh god, that's worst case
Yeah,
scenario. That's
pretty much.
This is already the 31st run defense in the league. If they're forced into playing nickel tonight, like it would take a Herculean effort by these linebackers to not get run the fuck over.
And some blitzing safeties, and they're literally going to have to throw the kitchen sink at it. Like they're going to have to overcommit so fully that, yeah, then the big play action to Ayuk is absolutely going to happen because they're going to be exhausted. They're just going to be physically worn out from taking on the blocks. And that's, football teams love doing that. Football teams love wearing people out. And the Hawks defense, if they are minus all the girth they have in the middle of their defensive line, are going to be worn the hell out. So somebody, I think it was KD, added way back that yes, the Jets running back room should be considered one of the deep ones. You're 100% correct. And that was before they added Bam Knight in the draft. They had Tyler Johnson, and he was their third guy and was very productive. And now that you've added Bam Knight and Breece Hall and Johnson still there, and oh boy.
Find a cure for $50. Oh my god. So Brett, may I convince you to open them on stream? On top of that, thoughts on the emergence of Josh Uche. Pats fans have been calling for him to play for a reason. Also, if you ever do a charity stream, could y'all do it for MS Society? Cheers. Abso-fucking-lutely to all of that. Would love to. To answer your actual question there, Josh Uche, I was a huge fan of him coming out of Michigan because he was one of the few edge rushers that could actually bend an edge, win with power, and you could put him at Mike linebacker and he could be the 3 up as 3 player in match cover 3, which he did multiple times because he's a crazy freak athlete. Matthew Judon mentioned earlier this year, he said that he is not the best pass rusher on the Patriots and that it was Uche, and Uche has absolutely exploded over the last 4 or 5 weeks or so. Incredibly talented player. When he first went to New England, I believe we said at the time, like that was one of the destinations that I think could maximize him because he is kind of like this hybrid do-it-all type guy, and they're a system that tends to maximize those types of players. I think the arrow is pointing massively, sharply up for Josh Uche. Should be at minimum a Pro Bowler this year. Oh, good Lord, what a hit. Should be
candidate.
At minimum a Pro Bowler this year. And honestly, if he keeps it up, if he's getting 13, 14 sacks, he could be an All-Pro. Like, he's ridiculous. And the fact that he is on the same front as Defensive Player of the Year frontrunner in Judon is... It's incredible. Those two guys are one of the main reasons the Patriots are even in the playoff discussion. Like, without them, they're done. But they're really, really good.
So we have like 6 minutes left in the first quarter. And, oops, hang on, wait. Oh, no, he didn't add to it. Okay. McCaffrey has...
Christian's got to break that, though.
He's got 44 yards in like 10 minutes.
I think he only needs 30 more, and I hit my over on rushing.
Yeah, he's almost halfway. Not quite. He's about a third of the way to the total for receiving and rushings for the game, and he did it in 10 minutes. He's got 50 more.
And Chenna Nwosu just discarded Jennings there. Great play by him.
Speaking of Uche, Chenna Nwosu's a player cut from the same cloth.
Mm-hmm. All right, what we got here on 2nd and 10?
Oh, we get some good rush, but it doesn't matter. And guess who?
more Christian McCaffrey, baby.
Yeah. Well, that's a great play by Purdy because he does get some pass rush and interior pass rush at that, which quarterbacks hate.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, young quarterbacks hate interior pass rush because it's right in your face and you have to make a decision right now. There's no like, oh, I can step up against this. You really have to just fling it or loop out of the way, which can really slow down your process. So great job by him, and he hits Mr. Everything, Christian McCaffrey, for even more yards. So with 4 minutes and change to go in the first quarter, it's been McCaffrey, and more McCaffrey.
After this drive, I'm going to go get the packages on my front door and an X-Acto knife.
Fair enough. You can do that. When you get back, I'm going to let you unbox live on air while I feed the dogs.
Oh, man. They're carting.
I know. Yeah, Brandon's on the cart. That is not good. All right, they're going to show it, and I'm going to wince. Be prepared. Oh.
I couldn't tell what actually happened. It looks like
oh
a knee.
No, yeah, he's done. Damn it.
Oh, nice little double.
No.
Man.
Oh, bye.
Oh, what a play call. They haven't called that in like 3 or 4 years, I don't think. The double pump screen with the pop pass up the middle, that was a Kyle Shanahan staple. They ran that in 2016 with the Falcons. They ran it when Jimmy first got there in 2017. I believe in 2018. I don't recall seeing it in the last few years with Kyle there, and they busted out in a big spot in prime time. Good Lord, what a play call.
And Brock Purdy looking like, yeah, of course I'm supposed to throw that on the road in a division game. Yeah, just so natural. It's kind of scary.
I seem to recall when they first ran it when Kyle got there.
Little bit of pushing and shoving in the middle of the line already. Hawks are getting frustrated. I don't doubt it. All right, here's the replay.
Did he fall over on purpose? Because when they first ran it, he would like pretend to fall over, and then no, they just snuck him out. Oh my God, that's so beautiful. What a play call.
Too many weapons. Get the defense basically flexed out. Fake to the left, fake to the right. Get all those coverage players at the second level taking a step to the outside and then go right down the numbers with Kittle.
I haven't seen that in so long. What a call. Oh no, my whistle pig.
Oh no, my whistle pig. Please tell me it wasn't open.
No, thankfully. I might polish that off tonight. All right, I'm going to go grab the packages. Chat, please flood EJ with as many personal questions as you can possibly muster.
Oh, jeez. What do I want for Christmas? Oh, no. All right, let's go. The all-athlete team strikes again. Right. Yeah, indeed. It's all right. I got it. Go get your packages.
I didn't show you my leggings tonight.
Your leggings are outstanding. Wow.
Little tie-dye cats.
Yeah.
Because, of course, my wife bought them for me. I have to wear them.
Oh, yes. Well, we now have video evidence that you have indeed worn them. Brock Purdy, Mr. Relevant. Yes, I believe that is true. The Purdy passing yards under is looking a little sweaty right now. Yeah. If he breaks it open like that, the only hope is that, they'll pull him to save him for the playoff run because that's kind of the thing right now. No. Yeah, holy leggings. Wow. Save it for the OnlyFans, Brad. Drip. Pretty cool. That's true. Niners and cats, my two favorite things. Okay, Matthew, you're in the right place then. The stream's going. All right, let's see if the Hawks have an answer because so far they've been punched in the mouth at home. And it's not looking very good. Oh, man. Just look at the ferocity of the guys on the Niners defense coming downhill after the run. That side of the ball, well, both sides of the ball now for the 49ers playing with immaculate confidence right now. They're so sure of what they're doing. Purdy has really changed the offensive side. The defense has been doing that all season under DeMeco Ryans, but Purdy has made the offense play like the defense, and that's a scary thought for most San Francisco opponents. Oh, no. Oh man, good night.
I have returned.
Yeah, you missed it. You missed it.
What'd I miss?
Fafanga, clean off the outside. Watch this. Safety blitz. He nails Gino here. This is a shot of the week nominee if I ever saw one. Look at the timing. Boom. Never saw him. Bang.
Ooh.
Thank you. Ball.
Crushed him. Was it a fumble?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Back and forth
God.
fumble. Yeah, just blasted him. Oh, no. Oh, the Hawks have got the yips.
All right.
Oh.
I believe this is what Find a Cure dropped for me today.
All right. I'm very glad that you do not have an X-Acto knife.
Kitchen knife or paring knife.
Paring knife, even worse. I was hoping for
I couldn't
scissors.
find my scissors. I couldn't find them.
I was hoping for scissors.
Let me see here. Oh, Pass Coverage Glossary by Cameron Soren. Phenomenal book, by the way. All of you should absolutely go buy this. Cameron Soren's a good buddy of mine. And this is actually perfect. So here's the thing. I had a copy until last week because one of my wonderful cats decided to use it as a bathroom because it was on the floor of my office. So I actually needed a new copy, and this is absolutely perfect. So I don't know how you knew I needed a new copy, but I really appreciate you for sending me one because this is one of my favorite books, and it is fantastic and immensely just powerful resource for anybody who wants to learn more about defensive football. If you want to learn about any type of coverage you can imagine and like all the rules behind it, how it functions, everything, like, I mean, trips, checks, different ways to run fucking everything. It's awesome. Go get this book. It's incredible. And I don't know how you knew I needed a new copy, but I really appreciate you a lot, Find a Cure. I really do.
Okay, not quite end of the first quarter, but yeah, check on the McCaffrey yards.
Let me see what we got here.
57
already. So he's on pace for like 250.
Yeah, 35 running and 22 receiving.
Man. Was it Fatty? No, it was the other one. Little.
Oh, the vengeful, spiteful one.
I actually cut my finger this morning because they decided to have an all-out brawl.
Oh, did they?
Next to it's not that large, but it's one of those like deep ones. And I broke.
And
the
you
first,
stuck your.
I know. I broke the first rule. I put my hand in the middle of it to try to break it up, and
yeah. The last time I did that was couple of dogs that I knew that were big dogs. I was friends with both owners. I knew both dogs, and they decided to have one of those momentary losses of reason when they were at the park. And I just, it's a thing I know. I've known since I was a little kid. My mom trained dogs when I was a little kid. I grew up around dogs, and I knew I shouldn't have been in it. Like, as my hand was going down to try and get a collar, I was like, what the hell are you doing? Just let them have it for a second. And sure enough, got my hand caught in the fracas. Okay, there's an Ayuk target. Not a lot of yards, but a target.
Tiny Cuber in chat said, is there a stream on somewhere, not Twitch, that I can sync the video with? It's also on Amazon Prime. It's Amazon Prime Video, so I think it's on the Amazon Prime app. I don't think, or on the website or on Twitch. There's like 3 different spots.
Yeah,
so
that's what I'm watching it on. I'm watching it on a tablet on Prime.
I just happen to like it on Twitch, personally, just because I'm on Twitch all the time. So, all right, 3rd and 6. Let's see what creative way McCaffrey gets the ball this time. No, we're just going to throw speed 7s against off corners all day because it's free access and they're going to give it to us.
And somewhere Neil Coulong celebrates because it was Ray McLeod.
Oh, caught a hold. Going to be 3rd and 16. That's tough.
Wah, wah, wah.
That's tough.
All right. Upcoming 2-yard screen to McCaffrey on which he gains 27 yards.
Oh, man. Brandon's out for the game. Damn.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Oh, look at him. Look at him.
Oh, he's
Look at
holding
the
the
hand.
throat. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
still look
that.
at the hand in front of the neck,
If
man.
it
Yeah,
was on
you're
the
gonna get.
jersey, I don't think they would have called it because that's technically a
Yeah,
rip move. But when you're grabbing the
but
throat,
wow, that candy apple green Seahawks helmet was something on the fan. Oh, more pressure, and he got it away again. To who?
yeah, didn't convert, but they got across the field. And if they're close enough, they might go for it because they're
But
kind of in weird no man's land here.
what I'm really impressed by is Purdy's had that interior defensive tackle pressure in his face twice in this game. Both times are completions.
Yeah.
For a guy in his third game, shouldn't be, but is.
4th and 7, they are going for it.
Oh, and they got him.
Oh, all right. 4th and 2, but it's free
Fourth and
play.
two.
No, they're not giving it to him. Okay, they're blowing it dead.
No, they're gonna give it. Yeah, they're gonna give him a 4th and 2.
All right, now the whole playbook is there.
Is that Daryl Taylor? 52.
Yeah. Oh man, Brooks is pissed. He knew it was coming. That's prime like double count territory.
Yeah. Well, it's the phrase "good work if you can get it," right?
Yeah, yeah.
If you can get them to jump, it's free yards. Take it.
All right, 4th and 2. I mean, literally everything is open to you here.
Oh, end of the quarter, switch sides.
Yeah.
I say, Kyle showing some of his cold weather roots, wearing just a sweatshirt on the sideline tonight. It's chilly.
I'm gonna guess zone read. That's what I feel. Zone read.
Only
Purdy keeps it for 2.
only you could be saying, yeah, zone read. That's what I feel. Tell me about tell me about your feelings, Brett. I feel zone read.
All right, gonna go back and answer some super chats. There were a few that might have that I might not have been able to scroll far enough up to see. So if we're missing your super chat throughout the night, please just let me know. Don't give more money. Just let me know if we're missing it. Sakito for $5. Wanted to get your take on the Texans' future. What do you think will be their priorities in the offseason, and if Lovie Smith stays? I'm split on Lovie. I think it depends on who's available. If Ben Johnson's willing to interview for the job, and we're thinking about drafting a young quarterback like a Bryce Young, Ben Johnson future, I could not say no to. I do think that they go quarterback. Not that I don't think Davis Mills can't stick around as a backup or just a backup in the league long term in general. But he's not the guy, so to speak. I think that much became clear this season. So whether it's Young or Levis or Stroud or, trade down to get a whole bunch of picks and maybe they believe in Anthony Richardson, I don't really know. I mean, they're probably going to get the first overall pick. So whatever they want to do, they'll be able to do. As of right now, I would assume Bryce Young is the pick. But there are some questions with him in terms of like stature and size and everything like that I can understand a team would be a little bit worried about. And then for head coach, I think it depends on if they're back channeling with Ben Johnson's agent and they think that he's willing to go there. Yeah, maybe they'll get rid of Lovie after the season. But if they don't get rid of Lovie, I think that's because all the agents they talked to told them that their guys won't go there. If they get rid of Lovie, it's because they were told explicitly that people will be willing to go there. So it's unfortunate that's how the business works, but that's how the business works. All the negotiation is literally taking place right now in terms of like, are you willing to interview? Like all the agents are taking those calls right now. Arizona, like part of the reason why I think maybe they keep Cliff is I'm not 100% sure that a lot of the hot coaching candidates would even take an interview there right now at this point. Like, would D'Amico interview? Would Ben Johnson
not
interview?
If the rest of the power structure stays the same. Like, if they don't say they're going to make a greater shift than just coaching, I think their candidate pool will be smaller. Some folks are always going to be willing to go, but you're going to have to go to the second level, third level. The top candidates are not going to be willing to go sit underneath Keim and say, yes, sir.
Well, Keim's out. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, indefinite medical leave. And Adrian Wilson took over with their other guy who's co-GM.
Okay, and
That was
Adrian
like
Wilson.
yesterday. It was yesterday. So.
Adrian Wilson got some. I wasn't on Twitter much yesterday, obviously. Adrian Wilson got some interviews, and rightfully so. I think he's a good personnel guy. So, we'll
Yeah,
see.
so I think yeah. So we don't
That
know. We don't know what the
changes,
story is, but Keim is
right?
not in the
But
picture.
that changes things for Arizona. That changes the landscape
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because if you remember, Adrian Wilson was one of the guys that Leftwich said, "I'll take him as GM if you make me coach."
Mm-hmm. And then
So,
they chose Trent Baalke over him for
mhm.
whatever reason. But
Yep. But no, Wilson's name's out there, and he's a respected personnel guy in the league. I think that actually might make the Cardinals. It's more of a wild card, but also they kind of need to be a wild card right now. That might make them more attractive. Oh my God. Oh my God.
he is so lucky that didn't get picked off.
Did you see the line of scrimmage?
Yeah.
This goes back to the whole. I know I talk about it every week, but the whole Pat Kerwin book. Take your eye off the ball. Like, don't look at the receivers. Don't look at the routes. Don't look at the quarterback. Look at the offensive line versus the defensive line as a whole. Basically, 5-on-5, or 5-on-4, whatever it was. Like, they just got pushed and pushed and pushed. Like, they gave him enough protection to get the throw off, but it is going one direction right now. It is not at all in the Hawks' favor. Like, there is just a lot of white flying around, hitting the ball carriers. Like, Walker, he's like, give me a chance, man. Give me something. I can do something if you give me, like, just give me a crack. Not getting it tonight.
So that was Jimmy Ward at outside corner.
Yeah, I was gonna say, who got that one?
Because he doesn't even matter where they play him. He'll be good.
Yeah.
And textbook chest to chest technique to handle a back shoulder fade. Couldn't do it
Yeah.
any better than that.
Shane Waldron looking a little bit consternated here, the offensive coordinator for the Hawks, who's had most of the answers all year, but he has yet to find one.
Travis Homer?
Yeah,
almost.
he has yet to find a single answer against this defense. There has not been one really good-looking play against the 49ers. So he knows he's going to be working for it all night, and it might not happen. There are just times when you run into somebody better, and the 49ers defense right now, so far especially, has been better. They have all the answers.
It's just a pack of wolves, man. It's a pack
yeah,
of
it
wolves.
is. 100% Pack of Wolves. Texas Dragon had a super chat for $9.99. Evening, y'all. Tell me which conference championship matchups y'all want to see for the AFC. Bengals versus Bills. For the NFC, Lions versus 49ers. Happy either way for the NFC, because how can you not like the Lions? That's where Brett finds himself.
Lions 49ers would be fascinating. Truly fascinating, because that's literally the top two head coaching candidates in the league right now. One on the offense, one on the defense. Oh, DK.
Well, DK is the offensive version of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Oh, 100%. 100% he is, but bigger. But no,
bigger.
That's literally the top two head coaching candidates right now, Ben Johnson versus D'Amico Ryans, and, are very, very fun, young, innovative offensive mind versus absolutely incredible defensive coordinator.
Whoa.
I would love that matchup. Plus, the Lions defense, since the Dolphins game, when they let their DB coach go, has been above average when they started out historically awful. And they've been really, really good. Well, not really, really good, but not shit for the last 6 weeks. And I think overall they're a very complete team. The Niners are a very complete team. I would say I would still favor the 49ers, but I wouldn't count the Lions out. They played really, really good football lately.
I only have one problem with that matchup for the NFC.
What? Oh,
no
there's
Eagles.
No Eagles in it? Yeah.
No Eagles. I really want to see what the Eagles can do. And they do have to earn it, just like every other team, but they have looked so good at every level, from the GM level in terms of assembling a super team. Let's just call it what it is. The coaching level with Nick Sirianni, evening out the bumps from what was his first year last year to this year, where they are pulling all the right levers. They have not really faltered yet in a game where people went, man, if Sirianni could have gotten his head out, they would have won that game. They haven't hit that yet. Offense, defense, the coaching's doing a great job. And then, the players on the field, if you're just talking Jimmys and Joes, like those guys are laying it down. They are playing together as a team. They are not just an assemblage of talent. So really at every level in that organization, they're clicking right now. And I just want to see how far that can go. Now, if they get beat rightfully so by a team that just gets hot on a given day, because that is the NFL playoffs, it's one and done. Okay, fine. Like lots of teams that were supposed to steamroll into the Super Bowl, got tripped up in the playoffs. That's a tale as old as the playoffs. But I would really like to see them at full strength, doing what they can do for the NFC crown. I think that'd be a good game.
I think there was a super chat earlier that I wanted to get to and I didn't before it got deleted, but it was Coach of the Year between Sirianni, Vrabel, and I believe Dan Campbell was the third option. Who are you picking out of those three? Personally, for me, I get it. They're helped out a lot by talent. I would lean Sirianni just because they're a threshing machine, and they've been a threshing machine from start to finish. They only had like one sort of slip-up game against Washington, which is a division game in primetime. I get it. But other than that, the Eagles have been just an incredible football team this year, and I would probably lean Sirianni. And honestly, my second choice would be Andy Reid, which I know people get bored of because it's Andy Reid and he's one of the best coaches ever. But I mean, God, just look at what they've done this year, post Tyreek trade and with a very young secondary. Those are probably my top two guys. I would say.
Yeah. Again, the only problem I have with that slate is Dable's got to be mentioned. He's got to be in the slate. I don't think he wins it necessarily, but he's done a great job with the Giants roster. That is not what the Eagles roster is. We talked about that on the pod this week. Yeah, that this is not a thing, right? And to have the Giants come storming out of the gate and be in contention was like, what? Such a marked difference from where the Giants have been in the last 3 or 4 years, especially under the last two under Joe Judge. Wow.
Oh my God, Christian McCaffrey.
What did I say at the top of this broadcast? Christian McCaffrey is running as hard, not necessarily as well. I mean, it's as well, but as hard right now. If that's one quantification for how a running back runs, he has not run harder in the last 4 or 5 years.
Just he bumping and grinding and spinning and fighting every little bit. Inch. Oh my God. Yeah.
He looks so re-energized, and I'm happy to see it because look, a healthy Christian McCaffrey on the field is something that football fans should want to see.
There's the boot.
There it is. Boot to uke.
So that's the thing is when your backside edge is like 295 plus because they don't have any nose, and so in Uchenna Nwosu. Oh, that's interesting. Nwosu didn't chase; he dropped.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Desai would do with his ends that always was not my favorite, is he would take his best pass rushing end, which is in Uchenna Nwosu right now, but used to be Khalil Mack, and drop them more often than I would have liked to see because, yeah, they're good athletes and it's a change up for the defense, but you also want those guys going forward because they're your best threat to get the quarterback.
I saw a defensive tackle body being the last man on the line of scrimmage, and I just thought that that's how they put the front, is they did 3 heavies and 1 edge and then 2 line. I didn't realize that Nwosu was there. He just dropped. That's interesting.
Yeah, 73 yards so far for McCaffrey with 12 minutes.
You're doing okay.
Like, this is the Christian McCaffrey show. He is the leading rusher. He is the leading receiver at this current point. So 7 rushes, 5 receptions. My averages were a little high. I set up in the 7s. He's averaging just under 6 a rush, 5.9, and just over 6 a catch, 6.4.
They called block in the back when the guy made the tackle. Like, he literally got blocked into making the tackle, and they called block in the back? Really? They're calling a penalty for something that helped him make the tackle?
I was going to say process over results. Not sure what that
Okay.
Okay.
Sure. I mean,
sure.
Technically by the letter of the law, I guess.
But... Always your favorite place to exist, yeah. Brett, the letter of the law.
All right, so 1st and 18, that got that back. So I think we're looking at like 2nd and 9, somewhere like that. Knowing Kyle, everything's still on the table here.
I hate to do it because I would never do it to a pitcher, but Purdy hasn't missed yet.
Yeah.
He's 10 for 10.
Well, that's the thing is they're not really asking him to. The beauty of this system is they're not asking him to do the hard shit.
It's true, but he's also done it twice with a defensive tackle in his face and still made completions on those
I
plays.
agree.
So.
I agree. He's a very good player, but that's the beauty of
Okay,
this
there we
system.
go. All we had to do was knock the shine off that one. He got free pressure off the backside and just sailed it a little bit. He just got it over the top of the receiver he was looking for, but he got it off. He didn't take the sack. Oh my God. Would you do that?
What?
Did you see the matchup 1-on-1?
Oh, McCaffrey against who's 57? Cody Barton.
Yep.
Yeah, nope.
I'm like, would you do that? Like knowingly? I mean,
No,
you have
not
to
on purpose.
sometimes.
Not
yeah,
on purpose.
That's what Shanahan will do to you. He will line up with some. Oh, now, sorry, we might be
Looked like a
developing.
little bit of a miscommunication. He thought Ayuk was going to run a comeback to the sideline, and Ayuk curled up inside. So
Hey, oh, chat. I learned from the master. I learned literally at the foot of the master here. So, y'all just can't resist, can you? No, I couldn't. And, whew, I will use my power for good from now on. I just had to test it out. Sorry, didn't mean to blow up the castle with the first spell, but
better you than me for once.
Well, I'm taking a little bit of your heat here, so you're just happy about that. I'm your human shield for the jinx.
Matthew Wright for $5. What are your concerns about Brock Purdy in terms of the 49ers making a Super Bowl run? There must be some. As long as the offense operates like this, as we mentioned, where they're not really making him do crazy, like we're not asking him to throw a fucking blaze out from the far hash. Like they would ask Trey Lance to try to do that kind of stuff sometimes, very rarely. Not that he's gotten a whole lot of snaps, but when I was there in camp, like they were having him make those crazy outbreakers from the far hash because he has the arm to do it. Purdy, not that he has a horrible arm, but that's not his type of throw. So we're going to restrict it to quick game. And, if we're going to go deep, it's going to be on like go balls down the boundary or like play action shots where, we're hitting the second window on a deep cross or something like that. Once you get across the safety's face, not overly difficult chunk plays. And I think that considering the strength of this 49ers roster, as you've seen tonight, the run game is rocking, the defense is rocking. They don't need him to do that kind of stuff. So I still do not believe there is a cap on where this 49ers team can go. He's arguably played better than Jimmy was anyway, so if anything, not to be callous about it, but it's kind of addition by subtraction so far. Like Brock Purdy, or rather Jimmy, did nothing that Brock Purdy cannot do plus a little bit extra. So, no, I have not changed my opinion whatsoever on how far they can go. I think they're fine.
I would agree. And yes, the Coleman curse might be spreading just a little bit, but that's okay.
Christian Nagel, what does the slip look like tonight? Well, let me bring it up for you, and I'll show you what we got going. So I got a sixer, and mine was Ayuk over 48.5 receiving, Christian over 78.5 rushing, which he's on pace to get, Purdy under 205.5 passing. Not feeling super great about that, but we'll see. Juszczyk over 7.5 receiving. That's like one catch for him, so we'll see. Hufanga over 4.5 tackles plus assists, which usually they don't tally those in the middle of the game, so might need to wait till after the game to figure out if I hit that one. And then Geno more than 33.5 pass attempts. Assuming the Seahawks can just stay on the damn field, we might be able to get that.
Yeah.
So that's mine. And then EJ's slip, Jordan Brooks over 10 total tackles, DK over 8.5 targets, Christian over 116.5 rushing plus receiving, Ayuk less than 7 targets, and then Purdy again under 205.5. So that's what we got going tonight. We're on pace for most of it, I would say.
Yeah, the Ayuk thing, he's got, 2 catches. I think there might be one more target in there. I don't have target data right off. The DK thing, I can only hope they're throwing him some bombs in garbage time because
Yeah.
it's gonna be garbage time pretty quickly. They haven't had the time to throw anything deep, and they don't tend to use DK as that big slot. And really get him the ball underneath and let him work. Again, famously, the 3 cone was the thing people were worried about. That was kind of garbage, but he is not a jitterbug underneath. You want to be able to get him moving in stride and then let him stride out because he is incredibly fast. There's one.
All right, we'll take that.
Yeah, that's a typical DK route, and he just uses that incredibly large frame. I think that was Jimmy Ward on him as well. Yep. And Jimmy Ward is physically overmatched by DK. He's feisty, but he can't fight through that. Watch DK use his frame. Just keeps him on his hip. Just like, yeah, you're right here, but you're not gonna keep me from catching it. Come on. So that's the kind of thing you're gonna see. You're not gonna see stop routes, little jerk routes, little quick in breaking stuff with DK. They're not gonna do that. Some big slots get those.
There's another one.
Yeah, not the thing. When they want to move the ball. Oh, and he's jawing with Warner too. Yeah. DK.
If there's one thing DK loves, it's starting shit.
Oh,
he is all pro
100%.
pot stirrer.
Yeah, this is the guy that lit into Shannon Sharp because he didn't know who he was.
Uh-huh.
Oy.
Oh man.
Ooh, boy, he tried to let Warner have it too. Physically, he tried to let him have it. He just laid into
your
him.
comp to CJ Gardner-Johnson is perfect.
Oh, he is the offensive CJ Gardner-Johnson. He's the guy that's going to grab your chain, talk about your mom. Like, there's
another target. This is the DK drive.
Yeah, I was going to say, we went from not that many targets to 3 in a row, so I'm okay with that. What was the over under
8.5? I think we're at 4 now already. So
4 or 5.
4 or 5. I think you're on pace.
So that was the one I said was going to be a squeaker before the game. I really thought if he beat that, it was going to be by a half. Like it was going to be 9 targets, not 8. Not like 14 targets, but they're leaning into the skill set to see if they can make it work. And I can't fault them getting the ball into a big explosive athlete's hands. Not a bad idea. See if he can break one, but this is a very athletic and explosive defense. So it's probably only going to be one at this point because they do fly around. They do practice team tackling as well as any team in the NFL. He's not going to get anything free, right? He might get something down the field where he breaks a tackle deep, but underneath, if there's anybody else in the area, they're going to be there and hit him pretty rapidly.
All right, 3rd and 8. It looks like we're getting some kind of middle field close structure, perhaps a fire zone look here.
I dropped into 2. Again. They're not going to count it.
What do they call false start? I think they did.
They called something, but that was another target on a little over under combo. They basically, the safety was coming down and they pulled him to the outside, so he had to cross in front of that route, basically clearing out a really big gap for DK to run that little slant behind it.
Oh, it was a false start on Lockett. That's rough.
That is rough. Tyler, we'll give you a pass because you're one of my favorite receivers in the league, but don't do it again.
You look at the ball when you're lined up.
On the ball.
All right, okay. 3rd and 13. This is split gun on 3rd and 13. That's interesting.
Yeah, but here I go again.
Another fire zone.
No, they were gonna go. Oh man, I think that gets it.
I think.
What was his over under for rushing? It was like 16.
Yeah, it was like 14 or 16, something like that. I think it was 16. That got it. Yeah,
I think that got it. All he needed to do was get loose once.
I don't know if they count sack yardage as a negative, but maybe.
Len, I'm sorry you got the flu. That's
always rough this time of year.
Being sick sucks, but look at this. This is just Gino making a good decision, right? Forget being a big guy that's an athlete. Like, this is just Gino making a good decision.
They brought a blitz, colloquially known as 4 weak, which is literally just bringing 4 to the weak side. And the thing is, if you don't get home on that, it opens up a big-ass gap the other way, and he just took it.
Oh, my God. They're not going to replay this because it's just a grind run play. Look at the 49ers defensive alignment on this play.
Going backwards.
No, they're going to show the Hufanga thing out of bounds again because that's going to get clicks. But
Did they call him on that? I don't think they did, right?
they didn't, which is
Okay.
why they're showing it because I'm sure the Hawks fans are seeing that on the big screen right now.
Autumn says, I'm tempted to do a shot of vinegar. I'm a mess. Oh my God. That's the worst thing I can imagine shooting. I hate vinegar personally. You couldn't pay me enough to shoot vinegar.
Wow, the Hawks convert a first down here. Is that their? I mean, it's not their first one, but
All I know is Gino has a shitload of passing attempts this drive, which I need because I need him to get to 34 desperately.
uh, I saw that number. I stayed away from it. I just thought, boy, it's going to be so hard. And the other thing is, I know that Carroll's not running the offense because the offense looks very different.
Because it's
Um,
throwing. Yeah.
that it has, well, it just has in years past, but there were games, and it was typically games like this, games in prime time, games against a divisional opponent, where Pete would just go, you know what? You know what we're going to do? We're going to run the ball 35 times tonight. Everybody ready? Let's go.
Well, I think he saw the offensive line moving 3 yards backwards on the first couple series and was like, you know what? Let's not. Let's
Yeah.
do literally anything else.
To his credit, he has not been. Boy, Jimmy Ward is the guy they're putting on Metcalf, and he's doing just fine, which is super impressive. Now, Jimmy Ward, great athlete. Don't get me wrong. It's not that he's small and slow or anything. He's smaller than DK, but so is everybody else. Jimmy Ward, great athlete. One of the reasons all that versatility that we talked about earlier on really works for him is he's got the physical skill to play corner. Oh, Colby, they were going for a guy, Colby Parkinson.
Talanoa almost had that one though. It bounced right off his hands.
Yeah,
Almost undercut that.
Yeah, he's had a great game. So he forced a fumble earlier. He chased down Gino on that, which was not a great play by a defender, but chased down Gino on that long scramble. And here he is floating.
Looks like quarter, half. And so they tried to hit him on like a deep switch, and he passed off the 7 to the outside corner and drove on the post underneath it. I think they thought he was going to take the cheese and carry the 7 too far. And he's like, nah, I'm going to drive on this. Great play by him.
He drove. Yeah, it was a great play. He just tough. Oh, boy, look at the pass rush. Just layers upon layers. Like if it's not one guy, it's another. And if it's not him, it's a third. There were 3 guys just streaming in towards Gino there. Like as a quarterback, you go, man, I might be able to dodge one. I might be able to pull the old Russ turnaround magician, behind my back move, but I can't dodge 3. And right here, he's got 3 guys within 1.5 yards of him. 2 of them hit him.
Perfectly executed TT stunt there.
Yeah.
Perfectly executed.
EJ is not reading chat, obviously. I get to the point where I'm focused on the game and I let chat run for a long time. And then other people tell me later, did you see the thing in chat? And I'm like, no. So sorry, I haven't been reading chat, obviously. Oops.
So the thing with stunts are more reliant on technique than people realize. It's not just one guy goes here, other guys loop around. The penetrator on those is incredibly important because you have to elicit panic in the guard, and you have to hit that front side or that A gap super hard, and then literally have to get to the point where like when you rip through, you have to hold your elbow into your chest because when you get their arm, you got to hold your elbow into the chest and like crank your forearm so that you're holding their arm in you. Like when they're in your chest and you're ripping under, you got to hold them there because you can't explicitly grab the jersey. You're going to call defensive holding. So you literally have to like fucking claw.
Arm lock.
So they can't come off and then pick up the looper. There's a lot of technique and a lot of nuance to a well-executed stunt. And I've always really appreciated watching veteran defensive linemen that have been around in the league long enough, because you can tell when they've been around a long time based on how they run stunts, because it's such a technical thing. Like there's so many little nuances to perfectly executing a stunt. You can't just like, I'm going in the A gap. Like, no, the guard's gonna fucking shove you into the center and then kick back and pick up you just look like an idiot. Like there's a lot of technique to it, and that was a very, very well run stunt.
Have you seen the somewhat more overt trend this year of that guy, the stunt setter, grabbing the guard.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that's why they started calling defensive holding over the last month, and that's why you gotta do it subtly. You gotta like
No,
just
they're literally like engaged with one hand on the tackle, pushing in because it's, defensive tackle going out to the offensive tackle. And they'll just reach over and grab the guard so he can't take the step to fill
yeah,
and catch the looper. But they'll literally just reach over and grab him
yeah.
because they're
Justin
not
Smith,
focusing on that guy.
Justin
Yeah.
Smith, and Alden Smith, like half of Alden Smith's sacks as a rookie when he had 14 and a half as a rookie, are literally from Justin Smith grabbing some poor offensive lineman by the fucking throat and saying, "Get over here, young man. You're staying here. Alden's gonna go get his." Like that is so powerful. It is so powerful. It's like free sacks. Like if you get a 3 technique or a 5 technique that knows how to hold and get away with it, it is literally free sacks all day long.
I forgot to bring this up, but now's the perfect time because they're showing Christian McCaffrey highlights.
Huh.
This morning when I woke up, and you know that I do this, first thing when I woke up, opened my eyes, and I was like, they showed Christian McCaffrey Roger Craig tape.
What do you? Oh, like in terms of how
This
he ran stuff.
this little burst, this little last 3 games. Like, go back and look at last week's performance from Christian McCaffrey and then put on some Roger Craig highlights.
Very similar. 1,000 and 1,000.
Well, right, but look at the style, right? Ball held high and tight, and those knees, just high knees, driving, hand out. It's almost like the Heisman pose, right? But in motion instead of in still. Like I had that flash. I was like, oh my God, Christian McCaffrey's running just like Roger Craig.
Is Charvarius 7? I thought Jimmy was 7.
Jimmy Ward's 7, I think.
Oh, no, Charvarius is 7. That's been Charvarius the whole time.
Oh, my bad. Here we are. Chat probably told us that.
Great catch by... Oh, he broke it up. I thought Jimmy was 7 and Charvarius was 1. That's my bad. I had him backwards.
I did too. So, yikes.
There's too many fucking Wards on this team.
Well, right. It's like Jones is on the Patriots. Or Johnson's on the freaking... Jay Johnson's on the Bears now. They have 2 Jay Johnsons in the secondary for the Bears.
Great play. Just when the ball's in the air, do everything you can to kind of rake through the hands.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over. That's the defensive back motto right there. Yes, Jimmy is 1. There we go.
Yeah, Bruce jumped. Bruce jumped.
Brock, quick. He showed that quickness when we saw him on the field at the Shrine Bowl. He definitely was quick of foot when things broke down, and he did that the most, which kind of was like, yeah, well, show us something in structure. It's cool that you can scoot and pick up 5, 7, 12 yards. That's neat. It's very useful for a young quarterback in the league. We need to see the other thing, and there wasn't a lot of the other thing, not near as much as you've seen in the last 3 weeks from him. He's really coming along for a player that they believed in strongly. Obviously, they put a draft pick in on him. Obviously, paying that off in spades. If you get a guy that can start games in the league as Mr. Irrelevant, you win.
There's 3 Jay Williamses on the Lions. That's true. You're right. Jameson, Jamal. Yeah. Who's the third?
Oh!
Look it up. Oh, CMC almost dumpstered him, too. Almost. Let me look up who the last Williams is. This is going to bother me.
That's okay. You can do it. I'm sure chat's been telling us for like 45 minutes that we had the wrong ward.
So
sorry,
Jameson,
chat.
Jamal. Oh, Jaron. Yeah, that's right. He's a corner. I forgot about that.
Yes. At one point last year, the Panthers had 3 D Moores. Yes, they did. It is maddening, but it's one of those things that happens in the NFL, and you just got to play through it.
All right, 3rd and 1 here. 13 personnel, looks like it. And we're just going to run right up the middle because there's nothing you can do about it. You got no nose tackles.
You got no nose tackles.
Ain't
and I know it.
You can do.
Yeah. Did you see the I think it was Eagles versus the Giants, and they ran the same running play from the same formation with the same pre-snap motion.
Power.
3 times in a row.
Power.
Which is the football version of, come here, I'm going to kick your ass. Like, yeah, I'm going to do it again. Yeah? You want more? All right, we got more. Line it up. Like, that's high school shit.
Toss lead.
Yeah. Pretty good defense by the Hawks
Yeah,
against
they
the
strung it
outside
out.
stuff.
They strung it out.
Yeah. Against the outside stuff, that's a good effort. I'll give them that.
Let's see. What are we in now? Third and what?
I'm going to give Clint Hurt and the defense a lot of credit. You're going up against a very diverse offense that is very difficult to play against because they have so many players that can do so many different things. They haven't played terribly. They've only given up 7 points.
Yeah, it's best case
You know,
scenario.
this is a young and attacking defense that's only going to get better with a little bit more experience. They're playing extremely well for how inexperienced they are right now. This is a good performance against the 49ers team that basically rolls into town on a heater, and you keep them to 7 points in the first half. That's winnable territory, right? That's a fine game. You're handing it back to you're handing it back to your offense. Yeah, you're handing it back to your offense, saying, "Hey, if you can score 14 points, we're in this game." I realize that's a very difficult thing to do, but if you can do it, we're going to hold you close.
Hopefully see you both at Shrine Bowl in February. Yes, we will be there. We would go to Senior Bowl if it was technically feasible, but because I'm driving all of our equipment out, I can't drive because they're going on at the same time, and like we're taking all the lighting and the cameras and everything like that. I can't drive from Vegas to Mobile. That's like a 2-day drive, and I can't get there in time. So we're just going to stay in Vegas. One of these days when we have the money, maybe we'll throw everything into a Pelican case and fly if I trust Delta Airlines with my entire business. But for now, since we're just driving all the equipment, it's like they're too far apart from each other. It's like not feasible to go. And then the Super Bowl is like literally back in the desert a week later. So It's just, we're going pretty much, we're debating if we're going directly from Shrine to Super Bowl.
Yep. Sonny says, what was Lumen Field named before Lumen? It was the Clink. It was CenturyLink Field. And even before that, it was Safeco Field. Safeco Field was the baseball field before it was T-Mobile. What was CenturyLink before? Now I'm gonna have to
what was it before CenturyLink?
Yeah, it was Quest Field
back in like 2010, 2011.
Yeah,
right?
It's Quest Field, and then CenturyLink, which everybody just called it the Clink, and now it's Lumen Field
because Lumen bought CenturyLink. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, and CenturyLink replaced.
Before that, it was the Kingdome. Well, back in the day, Kingdome.
Well, Kingdome, but yeah. Shout out to the biggest concrete block ever. Where that's actually the site of my first NFL fan experience was a Seahawks game in the Kingdome, when the Kingdome was like brand spanking new.
Find a cure for $5. Brett, there was another package, likely just in the regular mail. Trust me, it's where. Oh, I didn't know there was another one. So EJ knows this. My mailbox is. Oh God, Brock.
Yeah, I'm not looking at Brock. I'm looking at Diggs. Isn't that Diggs? Isn't 6 Diggs? Now I'm all paranoid about numbers.
It is.
Andre, man.
My mailbox is like half a block down from my house for some reason. I wish the U.S. Postal Service made sense, but it doesn't.
He didn't see him. He hit him right in the numbers.
So I'll have to walk down the street to my mailbox after the game, unfortunately, because it is.
Oh, look at Richard Sherman. How do you not catch that, Quandre? Oh. Special teams coverage has been really solid for the 49ers tonight.
Considering how both teams have functioned on offense, the fact that Seattle's only down by 4, like the fact that they have weathered this early storm and punch after punch after punch, and they're only down by 4 is pretty incredible. Like that's genuinely impressive.
Yeah, what was the line on this game?
I think it was less than 4 points, I think.
Oh, okay.
That
So
was
the odds makers
pre
sort
Al
of
Woods being
predicted
out.
this. Yeah, sort of predicted this, but I think uh, especially odds makers are uh, hesitant to go against the Hawks in a big game at Lumen Field. Like
That's the thing is
I don't
most
care what the circumstances
most
are.
home field advantages they build in 3 points. I wouldn't be surprised if Lumen's like a 4.
Yeah,
You
4 or 5 points. Oh,
great
Marquise
catch.
Goodwin. Marquise Goodwin is having a semi-quiet little resurgence in Seattle. I wanted him to have it for the Bears. He was there. He's popped around the league. I really liked him coming out as that, third receiver speed threat because he has world-class speed. Ooh, they get a little love off the draw. Goodwin has like Olympic sprinters speed. And he has found a way in the last 2-3 weeks to make not a ton of catches for Seattle, but some big catches for Seattle. And I'm just thrilled for him.
Sorry, we're in cover 2 now with a minute to
Oh,
go.
ball!
Oh, Travis, come on now.
And look at how fast
Charvarius Ward.
Yeah, we got it right this time, chat. We got it right. Oh, thanks. We appreciate your help. We wouldn't be anything without you, chat. Well, actually, we'd be right at least one more time during the draft without you, but that's just because you love tripping us up.
All right, did he put a helmet on it?
Or was it no, it's just Dre Greenlaw coming in and blasting the back of his tricep. Watch this, full on, just boom.
It's never the first hit that gets you. It's always the second because you're bracing for the first one and you're not realizing there's another dude right there. Always the second hit.
Yeah, he got hit real hard in the back of the arm, basically full on linebacker right in the back of the elbow.
Well, this is great for the Geno over 33.5 attempts for me personally. So
yeah, you're hoping that he's got to be chucking it up, and same thing for me with DK and pass attempts.
All right. Ayuk against, is that Tariq at the top of the screen? No,
it doesn't matter. He's blocking. CMC just driving. Look at that. Yikes.
Oh God, he got within a yard.
He just twisting and pushing. Like he really does look like young CMC, which was a sight to behold. And we haven't seen it just mostly because of health in the past few years. But even when he's been quote unquote healthy and on the field, he hasn't looked like this. He hasn't looked this full of fire in a while. And you really saw it come out last week. His debut game with the Niners, he definitely had a lot of stats. The second game was better. They incorporated more concepts. He knew more. And then, boy, that 49ers defense just flies around. There, again, multiple guys coming in, and that's just a hustle and effort play.
What a linebacking core, man. This is the best linebacking core they've had since 2012 when they had all 4 guys go to the Pro Bowl.
I'm going to take a small bow on Dre Greenlaw because I loved Greenlaw coming out, and I talked about him. I was one of the few draft analysts I knew that even talked about Dre Greenlaw. CMC. And, yep, CMC for score. I didn't have him scoring, so it doesn't really work for my slip, but good, not surprising. And I'm glad that he gets the payoff because, again, he's doing the lion's share of the work for the 49ers offense tonight. I mean, we're talking about leading receiver, leading rusher. He has 12 carries, 56 yards, 4.7 per. It's a nice carry clip against atypically hard-hitting Seattle defense, if not great at stopping the run. And yes, we know the defensive tackles are out. He is no longer the leading receiver because George Kittle, after that big scamper, has 9 more yards than he does, but McCaffrey has 30 additionally in terms of receiving. So we're at 86 yards throughout the first half. But they don't have his rushing touchdown up yet either, so there'll be a few more. But yeah, I was one of the few guys.
Whoever's playing against him in fantasy in the playoffs is gonna be pissed.
Not good. And middle of the season they would have been like, CMC, nothing. You drafted him high, blah blah blah. Then he gets traded and starts to go off, and they're like,
shit,
bummer. But no, Dre Greenlaw, just his tape showed a very capable linebacker that was basically, if we're talking about a receiving core, we'd say he's a good number 2, right? That he was a good complementary linebacker, and you put him next to a guy like Fred Warner, and he looks fantastic, and he has continued to develop. And you love to see that, but again, system fit, D'Amico being a linebacker himself, it's just all good for D'Amico to be in charge of Dre Greenlaw's development right now. And Dre Greenlaw is becoming sort of the max player he can be. And that's what we want to see for all players. Oh, geez, they're showing some massive hits he's had.
2017. I haven't realized he's been there that long. That's like 6-7 years there. I did not realize.
Yeah,
it's been that long of a tenure. Brett has the Hockey's haircut. Yeah, I showed up to my barber yesterday. Pulled out Discord. Said, "Give me that. Give me the Hockey's." And he's like, "I got you, fam. Got you.
I got you. I got you." Oh, good times. I can't believe Diggs didn't catch that one. Oh, neither can he.
That's brutal. That's the thing. The point swing between
No, I told
dropping
you.
that pick and then turning the ball. It's a 14-point swing on 2
Yeah,
plays.
I told you at the top. They can't have those, right? The Hawks are gonna need every break, and they can't give any away. And they gave away a fumble and gave up a would-be pick, and that's the difference.
Oh, Bosa almost got there.
I
DK pulled it in.
cannot believe that DK Metcalf caught that ball.
Are they calling OPI on him? Are they calling a push
I
off?
I don't know if they're calling a push off or not, but what I'm looking at is look at the throw.
Kyle's smiling. Yeah, I think they called push off.
Boy, that's a tough call.
Well, let's see if there's an angle of it. Are they calling it because he pulled? He kind of pulled.
He grabbed
him,
right there. Yeah. Right there. He grabbed him.
I get it. It's.
Oh, I understand. DK's like, my dad did worse things, because a lot of people don't remember that Terrence Metcalf was an offensive lineman, played for the Bears. But it's just like, Dad got away with worse in the trenches, just yanking people's jerseys. Why can't I? I'm almost as big as he was. Lockett.
Well, Lockett got a lot of it back.
For sure. He's laughing.
Again, this is great for the DK pass or the Geno pass attempts over. So I'm
But because of the flag, that doesn't count, does it? Because he came back.
The OPI? Oh yeah, you're right. They took that one away. That's fine though.
That sucks. Fine, though.
We move.
I don't like that at all. Now they're going to oh, no, that's not Lockett. 19.
In the offseason, can we get a video on DJ Reader? Absolutely. He is, in my opinion, the best nose in the league. Like, there are some great nose tackles, but to me, DJ Reader, like, there is almost no, other than Burrow and Jamar Chase themselves, there is no player, in my opinion, on the entire Bengals roster that is more impactful than DJ Reader and what he does for that defense and what he allows them to do, especially when they play like a 4-2-5 nickel, which they love 4-2-5 nickel. Nobody is more impactful on that team outside of literally just Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, he is that good. And he should be an all-pro this year, in my opinion. He really should. He's one of the best, if not the best nose tackle in the entire game.
Yeah, Daniel 1290 brings up the other piece of that I didn't really get to, is that they missed the sack on Geno by a hair on that throw to DK that was OPI.
Not sure I love that call on 3rd and 4.
No,
you got to go. You got to go, though.
I don't love it. Take a shot, you know. Again, if you can get even a late field goal here, 14-6, like,
it's not the worst.
You gotta love that. Yeah, you gotta love that, considering the fact that you were not favored, and I'm sure they thought, they being the Seahawks, thought they were going to win this game, and they still might, but they also knew it was going to be an uphill struggle, that the 49ers are very good and very complete football team, and that they were going to be working for it. So to kind of throw up the surrender flag and go, we're going to throw a little screen, and no, we're probably not going to get it. I understand. 17 seconds left late in the game. Don't want to make a mistake that goes the other way, because we've seen a couple of those tonight.
Let's see.
Oh, was it die? Nope. Almost.
Ooh, no, no.
Almost.
I thought it was going to kind of take a
Mm-hmm.
little roll to the right and get out of bounds, but either way, I think we're kneeling and getting out of here. I'm curious to see what the second half slip is. It's like McCaffrey over 100 yards second half. At this
It
rate,
would
why
be.
not?
It would be interesting. Let's see if they've updated that.
I don't think they have.
Yeah, they got him as rushing TD now. So basically 97 yards, 96 yards, 39. Oh, no, 87. My bad. 30 receiving, 57 rushing for Christian McCaffrey. So again, pretty much the 49ers' entire offense outside the little seam pop to Kittle for 39 and the touchdown. Pretty much everything else. I mean, Brandon Ayuk had 2 for 19. Nobody else had a rush at all. It's the CMC show.
I locked it in early because these lines tend to shift really quickly during halftime. So if you guys want to tail
We have
this,
learned.
if you guys want to
Get
tail
on
this,
it.
now is the time.
Get on
Over Geno 130.5 passing in the second half. I think he's gonna have to throw like crazy because they're not getting dick in the run game. And then Purdy, this one's risky, but again, I kind of feel like because it's a relatively close game, we might get a really wacky fourth quarter here. I went over 90.5 receiving. Over 90.5 passing on Purdy. So if you want to tail it, the slip, now is the time because this might look different in like 2 minutes depending on how the numbers are shifting.
Yeah, get to it. We have learned that they move and move quickly. I am going to run upstairs and feed the dogs,
Go for it.
grab some fresh drinks, and I will see you all for the second half.
All right. So again, that is Geno. I took over 130.5 in the second half, and I took over 90.5 for Purdy in the second half. All right. Let me see if I can catch up on some super chats that we missed. Brett, you were there 3 days. It doesn't count. So I've been told. Brick1 623 for $5. Coleman Curse, Nasan, it's time for the EJ execration? Oh, that's a word I haven't seen before. What's that mean? Brett's going to Google that on the side. Execration. An act or instance of cursing, a curse dictated by violent feelings of hatred, an imprecation, an expression of utter detestation. Bars. Felt like I just sang a fucking Hamilton verse. Oh, man. You learn something new every day. All right, let me see what else we got here. Scrolling. Jared for $5. Hear me out. One of you goes to the Shrine Bowl, the other goes to the Senior Bowl. We thought about doing that, to be perfectly honest. We thought about doing that, but we couldn't choose who would go where because they both are going to have players that we really want to see. And so we're like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just make it easy. It's a lot easier when we do the shows together in person anyways, so it's a little easier to handle interviews that way as well. So that's how we're going to handle it. Is just going to Shrine. We wish we could go to Senior Bowl, but I'm not yet at the point where I can fly my entire business out like a lot of other major outlets that are, packing Pelican cases and driving a truck to each. I don't have the resources to do that quite yet. Max BS for 550 pounds. Love from the UK, guys. If Purdy makes a deep playoff this year, what's Lance's future looking like? QB controversy incoming. If the 49ers make it to the NFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl, I do think it will be a legitimate competition in camp. Because I don't think Kyle is one to ignore that kind of result. And I do think that he would give Purdy a chance to win the job in camp. And to be perfectly honest, there wouldn't be a whole lot of pressure on him to just hand the job to Lance because they would have made a deep playoff run. And I think people would be perfectly understanding of not a controversy, just a competition. And then whoever looks best in camp wins. Like in this year's camp, I'll qualify it. In the days that I was there in this year's camp, the reason why I tweeted, I think Brock Purdy's going to be QB2 is because I couldn't just say he's going to be QB1 because he looked best in team drills. Lance was already the starter, so I'm not that stupid. But he did look the best in team drills in the day that I was there. So, like, if it was an open competition last year, I would have tweeted, he's looked the best in team drills. He's got a shot to be QB1. But since he didn't have a shot to be QB1, I was like, okay, it'll be QB2. But at the time, Jimmy, we thought was going to get traded. And Sudfeld, I had no belief in. But, like, I'm not blind. Like, he looked great. And that's why I praised him, because he looked great. If they go on another deep run this year and it's a legitimate competition in camp, I would look forward to going back and giving an assessment again. Because, you know what? If Lance looked better, I'm going to say Lance looks better. It's just all about what happens on the field, you know? So, to answer your question, I wouldn't call it a controversy. I'd call it a competition. Matthew Wright, do you think Amenahu, or how do you think Amenahu since he became a 49er? Charles Amenahu is, he was one of my favorite Texans when he was on the team. Extremely versatile player, can play inside, can play outside, and I think he's continued that legacy in the Bay. Ultimate role player, like Swiss Army knife type role player. So much versatility in terms of where you can line him up. Sir Mix-a-Lot looks good. So much versatility in terms of where you can line him up. Plays his ass off. Got tons of length, tons of power. I'm a big fan of Charles Amenahu. Really am. And I always will be. GPG 2017 for £5. What do you think happens with the Jets quarterback situation at the end of the season? More accurately, what did they do with Zach Wilson? Again, I think it's a very similar situation to the 49ers. If Mike White keeps playing well, especially if they make the playoffs, which is not out of the realm of possibility, they could still do that. It'll be a competition next year. And I would give the early edge to Mike White, whether or not they want to avoid just the media being the media and just trading Zach because they don't want to deal with it anymore. Like, not that it's Zach's fault, but if they just don't want to deal with the constant story of like Wilson versus White or anything like that, like, yeah, maybe they'd trade Wilson, but like they're not going to get a whole lot for him. He's looked terrible. So it's like, are you even going to get a good return on it? Probably not. So I would still expect, like, yeah, it'll be a competition and whoever wins, wins. Because at this point, I think Mike White has established himself as a capable starter. And I don't think that they would feel pressure to just hand the job to Wilson. I really don't. Like, I think worst case scenario, it's a camp competition. And, sucks for them that it seems like, again, it's a top 2 or 3 pick at quarterback that within 3 years we're talking about them offloading from the roster. It's a tale as old as time at this point, but here we are. I feel bad for Jets fans. I really do. That again, we're in this position. But hey, at least Mike White's played well, so it's not the worst thing in the world. John Salter for $7. $7 for 7 straight wins for the Penguins. How about it? I am not a Pittsburgh sports fan, but I know many Pittsburgh sports fans. And even though Steelers are number one in their hearts, the Penguins are not that far behind. Pittsburgh is a diehard sports town of any kind, except for the Pirates. But that's mainly just because they don't like their owner. I think there's a lot of Pirates fans that just don't want to go to the games because they hate their owner. But if they had new ownership, they'd probably go. But Pittsburgh loves their sports, let alone University of Pitt. They love Pitt too. Levi Snyder for $2. Did you hit my super chat about Ryan's staying a 49er? I assume that's what you're talking about him staying if he doesn't like the head coaching opportunities. I mean, I could see it if he doesn't like, let's just assume Cliff is gone, right? If he doesn't like that opportunity, and he turns down an interview there, if he doesn't want to go to Houston for a major rebuild, Maybe he's not getting good vibes about or Carolina. And then, if Indy hires, let's say, Ben Johnson, right? And there's no other open jobs that he feels confident in, because again, this would be his first job, and it's important to pick a place that's a good fit. Like if he doesn't feel like he's going to get a fair chance to succeed in any of the other open jobs or jobs that we think might be open, yeah, I could see him staying again and then making another run next year and improving his leverage again to where he can be choosy about whatever job he wants. I would not be surprised by that whatsoever, because why shouldn't he be? Like, he's a really quality candidate. And I don't think that he needs to jump at just the first job that will hire him. I really don't. He can afford to wait and be choosy. And so if he doesn't like the options, yeah, he'll stay. Jared Colt, $10. Thank you, Jared. Couple things. Purdy looks like John Harbaugh. You know what? I was just thinking that. Like, before the game, I was making a thumbnail for this, and like there was a whole bunch of like Purdy headshots, and I was like, he looks like John Harbaugh if John Harbaugh was like a 17-year-old boy. I swear to God. Like, if you guys open up a new tab, pull up Brock Purdy, like, imagine John Harbaugh in high school. That's what he looks like. 100% agree. Am I crazy, or is Hyatt a first-round wide receiver? I'm looking forward to Saturday because I finally get to watch the TCU wide receiver. Speed kills. I wouldn't be shocked if Hyatt goes in the first round because he's extraordinarily explosive. He's got speed. He's got ball tracking ability. And, at the end of the day, wide receiver is a premium position in today's NFL. And I think there's a lot of teams where even if they already have two they like, you need 3 or 4. And more importantly, if we've learned anything from the Chargers this year, is that you need guys who can win over the top. Like, your offense fundamentally changes when you have deep speed. So, wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the first round. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes in the first round of the Chargers because he's the exact kind of receiver they need. And then last one here, Willis Honeycutt for $5. What do the Panthers do with the quarterback position with their diminishing draft pick position? Oh, see, it's tough because if the Panthers are picking 20th because they backdoor their way into a playoff spot, like if Carolina is picking 20th, they're not getting any of the top guys. Like, they're maybe getting Anthony Richardson. Maybe. And it's like, unless they're hiring a coach with a pedigree for elevating an offense, like, say, Ben Johnson, who we've been bringing up all night long. Unless they're hiring him, I don't see that being a fit, because Richardson is somebody who I think needs an offensive coach who will put him in position to succeed. Needs a guy who really understands how to create opportunities to scheme people open. Not that I don't think Anthony Richardson can read defenses. Not that I don't think that he can't make checks at the line and call protections and all that kind of stuff. But I do think that it's important for a young quarterback to have a head coach that will just make things as easy as possible. And that goes for anybody in this class. Just make things as easy as possible. And that's why I'm like, if Carolina's hiring the guy who can do that, which would be Ben Johnson, sure, fine. If they're hiring, let's say, a defensive head coach who doesn't bring along a strong offensive coordinator, I'd be a lot more reticent about that, to say the least. Welcome back, EJ.
Thank you. Our good buddy Jordan Reed on Twitter, Jordan Reed, the draft analyst for ESPN now, says the Seahawks really need help along the defensive front. Lots of injuries, but they have issues right up the middle. Wouldn't mind seeing them double dip early in the draft to help that group. Well, it's a funny thing about the Seahawks is they've got some picks to do that. I can't remember why that happened, but, it seems to me they've collected a few.
Jalen Carter. Pencil him in right now. Jalen Carter.
No, he's a bear. I can't bear to have
they're
him
going to trade. So I would love that, but I'm convinced they're going to trade down. I'm convinced.
I believe that previous luck allows them to do that. And the previous luck is Justin Fields falling into their laps and Ryan Pace not being stupid enough to avoid it. He was smart enough to say, oh, geez, I should grab this while it's here. And that really does allow them that flexibility to have the top view in the draft, which is a high pick and not need a quarterback. That is where you want to be. It is rare real estate. And, they have it. And I think they'd be foolish not to leverage it. If they don't, if they stick and pick for whatever reason, that player better be
Jalen Carter.
better than Aaron Donald. Like, I don't care who out of college you're talking about. It better be better than Aaron Donald as a pro. And that's basically impossible.
Here we go. 2nd and 5. What do we got?
Oh, he's letting it go. Kittle again. Coverage bust.
Easy money.
Oh, and he's going to score.
Oh, my God, George. How do you do it? Oh, gross.
Score. Wow. Anybody playing against Kittle in fantasy just tore up their book.
We needed the over on Purdy passing yards, so I'm okay. I'm okay.
I went under on Purdy passing yards.
Well, I'm talking second half.
The second half slip. Yes, that helps tremendously. My slip, it pretty much grenades that. I'm pretty sure that Purdy goes over.
But the good thing about these second half slips on Prize Picks is that as long as we hit those, it actually pays us back for the ones we miss in the first half. So
I don't know. The Purdy under was a risk because he can always hit one big ball to Ayuk for 60 yards, one big ball to Kittle for 35 or 40. Like, so you can break past the 205 ceiling pretty easily. I figured the Seahawks corners were going to hold up a little bit, and for the most part they have, because Kittle's not playing against the corners. But boy, they've let him go twice now, and he scored both times.
Gross.
Yeah. Not ideal.
I'm trying to see. Fair analysis. You look pretty stupid implying Mr. Irrelevant going over a top 10 pick. I understand the tweet. Yeah, it's funny because that was me trying to not ruffle feathers. And if you look at the replies to it where I said that I thought he was going to be QB2, all of the responses were, you're fucking insane. And I'm like, I mean, it's not like I said he's going to start. I mean, starting now, but
yeah, but nobody was predicting that, and rightfully so. Hindsight, people always love to, you should have predicted he'd start. I'm like, come on. No, you shouldn't have.
He was QB3 at best at the start of the season.
Everything we'd seen. Is, Brock Purdy is the future? Question. Zeno Christ in the chat. It's going to be really hard to unseat him. They have been looking to do that. Now, the whole Trey Lance thing, every year you are removed from that, people forget what you paid to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you essentially, not saying you should, but if you do essentially sweep Trey Lance under the rug and go on a big old run, including up to or into the Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, nobody cares anymore, right? 49ers faithful will say, oh, he gave up all these picks and he shouldn't have. He could have just gone out and got Brock Purdy. Well, the last time somebody, quote unquote, just went out and got a Brock Purdy, it was a 6th-round pick named Tom Brady. And I'm not saying Purdy's going to be Brady, but the last time we've seen massive success from the UDFA ranks of quarterback,
long time ago.
And if I'm talking about massive success, it is that run all the way up to and into the Super Bowl. I'm not talking about 3 games as massive success.
You're wrong. There was one more recently who had an entire, arguably Hall of Fame career, at minimum Ring of Honor career, retired, and has been retired for several years now, and Brady's still playing. Tony Romo.
True. Yes.
But it's a good way to look at how long Brady's played. Is Brady started, did his Super Bowl thing, and then Romo came into the league, had Romo's entire career, set every record you can think of for the Cowboys, retired, and has been an announcer for 5 years, and Brady's still going. It's insane.
Yeah, it's very Jerry Rice like in that way.
Uh-huh.
In that, they were showing, I think Craig Brown was showing highlights from the Jerry Rice season, either with the Raiders, I think it was with the Raiders or the Seahawks, because he finished the Seahawks. But I think it was the Raiders years. And he was like, in these clips, Jerry Rice was 42 years old.
He's insane.
Right. And he had 1,196 yards or something that year as a 42-year-old, second or third receiver. Just, there are very few. It's the avocado ice cream. Yes. It apparently is the avocado ice
Drinking
cream.
the blood of kittens in his spare time. Yep.
Well, whatever works.
Gotta appease Cthulhu somehow.
Yeah, when you make a deal with whomever to be able to continue to throw heat into your 40s after taking that many body shots in the NFL, somebody's got to pay, and if it's the kittens, I get it.
Oh man. Break 623 for $5. If the Jets miss the playoffs and don't feel confident in White or Wilson, do you think they try and go get Derek Carr if Vegas wants to move on? Well, Derek just signed an extension. I don't know if he's tradable cap wise. I truly don't. I have no idea. I have to look it up. I don't know what kind of dead cap hit it is. Let me do that right now while this play is going.
All right, you look that up, and I'm going to give you a question. I'll talk about this play, but if you were another team, say, I don't know, cough, cough, the Panthers, and you're not going to get one of those top guys, and we can turn out the lights on this one. Oh, the flag. Let's see the flag.
What is it, roughing the passer because he got lit up? That's the only thing I could think of.
I don't know. But if that one stands, yep.
Roughing the passer. Brutal.
They got bailed out.
This better be good. This better be good to take a touchdown off the board. All right, show it to me.
Bosa. Oh, landed with his weight on him.
Oh, that's what they're gonna fuck off.
No, that's what they're going to call. That's a great break on the ball by Lennar, though.
Get the fuck out of here.
Either way, it's a great break by the DB. DB has nothing to do with the hit on the quarterback, but took advantage of the throw that resulted. Really great break by Lennar.
That's awful. Oh my
nifty
God.
From Gino.
That is horrific.
I understand it's horrific, but don't skip the play after. You're right. It's horrific. And the play after and another flag. Oh, it's on the defense. They'll decline it. Look at the pocket movement by Gino. This is what we've seen from him this season that separated his play. Yes, accuracy at all levels of the field. Yes, watch this. Whoop. Oh, man. That is pretty. And then delivers a dime right on Lockett.
For reference, this is something I didn't realize as we're K-Walk. Yep.
Yeah, running the ball is not working out really for the Hawks tonight.
If Carr gets traded pre-June 1st, it actually does save $29.3 million in cap for the Raiders. So I didn't realize the deal was structured that way, where it's only like a dead money hit of like $5.6 million if he gets traded. So not that I think the Raiders are going to blow it up, but like
they would consider it though.
If the Jets come and offer a shitload of picks, they would consider it. Yeah. Devontae would be pissed.
It is considerable. Well, unless the Raiders go out and get Aaron.
That's the only scenario where I think Devontae doesn't burn the city down. Yeah.
But could you see that, like Aaron and Devontae tearing things up in the desert? That'd be ridiculous.
All right, here we go. 3rd and 4, Gino. What do you got?
The answer is a lot. Wow.
Lockett's having a good one tonight.
Yeah, Lockett's starting one of those heaters, right? It was DK, and then it was like real sneaky at the end of the first half, like Lockett, come couple 3 locket balls, and now he's leaning on him because, look, that's a professional receiver right there. Look at the release. He just basically was killing time with that release. He wasn't trying to get open.
It's like a
He
hezzy.
knew what he was going to do. He just basically took like a triple step to hold the DB on the outside because he's like, when I break, he can't be inside. He can't even really be leaning on his outside foot and drive on this ball. So I just need to get that outside foot kind of up or light, and then I can break in because I'm just waiting for that lane to open up. Oh, did he do it again?
That was a false start. They missed a false start on Cody. Oh, no, maybe they threw it.
Yeah, they threw it.
No, they didn't. That was a false start. You saw Kyle Shanahan losing his mind on the sideline.
Well, that's not a new thing. Oh, you know who caught that ball?
Who? I didn't see.
Derek.
Derek Young. I didn't even know he was getting snaps.
Yeah.
Oh, they called a hold. Okay, well, all right. Say Livy.
Is that on Abe Lucas?
Yeah, make-up call. Either way, it was a penalty.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, no, it's a hold.
Yeah, that's a hold.
He held and tackled him. So, take your choice. But Derek Young, nice catch.
Nice catch by Derek.
Derek Young, for those of you that don't know him,
Lenore Ryan.
Lenore
right?
Ryan.
Yeah.
Yep, Lenore Ryan. Speaking of Lenores, we got Demore. I can't ever say his first name. How do you say his first name? Because I'm going to screw it up. I actually heard it pronounced last week.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Diamador,
DK.
I think.
Wow,
Yeah.
I was way off. I was like, it's D
it's
something.
Diamador. Yeah, anyways. I always screw up his first name, but
watch the stiff arm from DK.
I will. And look at Charles.
This one might even beat the Najee.
They're going to highlight. Yeah, they're going to highlight Charles Cross here. Look at the quickness on Bosa. Wow. That's why I had Charles Cross right up at the top of my OT rankings.
Oh, you got to show the stiff arm. Come on now. He bounced him like a fucking basketball.
Well, it's the best kind.
Ah.
Anyways, Derek Young, Lenore Ryan, wide receiver, absolute unit. Completely built. Oh, he didn't get him that time. Oh, look at Bosa. He's like, you got me last time. You're not going to get me twice.
Yeah, makeup call. Or makeup non-call.
Yeah. Oh, just power.
Yeah.
You just see him forklift cross off just enough to keep his arms off.
Did you see him put his arms out to catch himself? Watch him extend his arms.
Oh, he knows.
He's like, I can't.
He did the quarterback crawl. Oh, there's another DK target. Are we up there? Where are we at DK
We might have
target?
already passed it.
Yeah, where are we at DK targets? I'm feeling good about that one. We should just check the slip from the first half.
They have not updated the targets.
Okay. What's the slip say?
8.5.
Okay. What's the rest of the slip say? Let's take a peek at that slip.
Hold on. So on yours, CMC needs like 26 yards, maybe 26-ish. And then we don't have any data yet for targets or tackles. So you need Brock Purdy to not get 55 yards for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I knew the Brock Purdy thing was going to be tight if he hit a couple of big ones, and he's already hit like 3 big ones. So,
and then for my Sixer, let's see what we got here. Ayuk, I'm lagging behind. McCaffrey, I'm on schedule. Purdy, I need him to like throw 1 to use check and then 1 to Ayuk and then just stop. And then Hufanga, I think I'm on pace. And then Geno, I should be on pace. So
Jordan, they've got unofficially they've got Jordan at 3 tackles, 4 assists. So that's 7 the way they count.
Okay. So there is a narrow singular street that I need to take to win 500 tonight, but I got hit. I need all green lights, CJ. All green lights.
Gotta get to the grocery store on time.
First down to use check and a big ball to Ayuk and stop for the rest of the night. Then just CMC.
Sure. Yeah. No, I need Purdy pulled because the score gets out of hand.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that pick 6 would have helped.
Yeah.
DK's at 8 targets already, so you need one more DK target, and you hit that one.
I'm feeling good about that. So I feel good about Brooks. I feel good about DK. I feel pretty good about CMC getting 20 more yards for the rest of the game. 20 something yards for the rest of the game. I'm not feeling great about Brock. And what was the last one?
On yours, Jordan Brooks.
Yeah. No, I had Brooks. I feel good about Brooks. He already has 7
you
out
have
of the
DK
10.
targets, Brooks tackles, CMC total yards, Ayuk targets under 7.
Oh, Ayuk targets. All right. Well,
You're doing good on Ayuk targets. You're fine there.
yeah, I think I'm okay.
Jared says, I adopted a fantasy team midseason and turned my 23 104 into a 109 through 12th. So you have the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th pick, and a 2nd, and a 24 first, and now I have 3 24 first. What the fuck? You turned one pick into like 8 picks? How?
Oh, you should watch. Oh, you're watching Twitch?
No, it's
Not
on
Prime?
it's on chat. Oh, I am on
No.
Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah, on Prime they're doing the comparison you always do.
Tariq Desherm. Yeah.
Yep.
How did you do that? That's what I want to know.
Magic.
Michael Asher for $5. Bears Hawks are looking to trade out of the 1-2. Panthers are at 120. Do they trade up? Oh, so you're positing a scenario where the Bears or Hawks want to trade out of the 2nd overall pick. Carolina's at 20 and wants to move up. It depends on who's available.
But it'd be expensive.
It would be extremely expensive because it'd be for a quarterback. And the 2nd quarterback off the board at that. So they have to really believe in it.
Oh, for sure. It's like the Trey Lance deal. You're going to give up a boatload of picks.
Which I think was roughly about where the Niners came up from, right? It was somewhere around there? Like middle?
They weren't even that far down, I don't think. I don't remember.
But it was three first-round picks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're willing to
that'll
pay
be the
that.
cost.
I think
that'll be the cost.
I think
sure.
they'd rather take Anthony Richardson there and keep assets to build around him.
Uh-oh.
Another nice run from CMC on counter.
Another 9 yards. He's just tearing it off.
He's going to get 30 touches tonight.
He's been a focal point since the 2nd week after his debut with them.
Brett, no, it wasn't poor context. Wait, so you're saying you didn't get 7 picks? Oh, could be anywhere from the 9th to the 12th. Okay, now I understand. That makes a lot more sense. Still, very well done. And you probably will get Caleb Williams out of that. So you're winning.
They got him.
Nice little trip up there.
Yeah, if they don't get the trip there, that run's looking really nice. That's one of those game of inches types plays where CMC, watch this replay because they're going front side on this. Oh, that's a trip. That's a straight up trip.
Yeah, Tariq threw his heel back.
That is a straight up trip.
That's a penalty, by the way.
Yes, it is. That is a straight up trip. If he doesn't get it, though, CMC's got the edge, and he gets easy 7 or 8. Easy. Whoa. Reverse orbit. Whee.
Is that Ray Ray? I think it is.
Dong. Yeah, we can stop that, 49ers. Take that crap and get it out of here. That is not Ray Ray.
3?
Is it 3 or 24 was the up back?
Yeah, 3 was the one who went in motion. I think it's Ray Ray.
Okay. Yeah, because 24 is Jordan Mason, who a lot of people don't know, but had a really good week last week.
Jared, tell him about your Josh Allen trade. What did you do, Jared?
What did you do, Jared? All right, Purdy. Ooh, Purdy got big rush, and there was 3 guys there for the first time all night. He had 2 pinchers outside, and when he stepped up, there's a guy in the middle. It was Q Jeff, not surprisingly, but that was the first time Purdy just had to eat it and couldn't make a play when he saw sort of a lot of flash of rush here because look at the guys outside get up. That's weird.
Hmm.
Look at the 49ers line compress on that rush. They all five, well, 4 of the 5 guys in the middle just kind of whoop accordion to the middle, and they left
So
two big men
that
on the
tells
outside.
me they were, because of Hugh Jeff being inside, and I think it was also Shelby Harris. Based on personnel, they probably thought a stunt was coming, and so they're just like, "We're gonna pass this off 3-on-2."
Uh-oh. Bye.
He break
Oh,
it? Yeah, he did.
yeah, he did.
Oh, nice little.
Yeah. Look at interesting formation to run this ball out of. Well, I mean, run this play out of, right? They didn't run the ball, they threw it, but look at the bunch. That's basically just all 11 stacked shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's
Look
like
at
a tunnel screen, but without the tunnel.
Yeah, no, they have everybody just in a line and then a quarterback.
Orbit motion is less scary when it's not Debo. Underestimate Ray at your own peril. He's a legit 4-3 guy, and when he gets it in space, he's tough.
He's got to hold on to it, though. Uh-oh. Wow. If he makes a play here, oh, my God.
Dude, the kid's got a shamrock shoved up his ass. I swear to God.
I think he has 4.
I mean, what the hell? Jimmy just eats that sack. Jimmy lays there and he just turtles.
Yeah. No, he's got a defender near him. Okay, Kyle has succumbed somewhat to the elements getting a little bit colder. He's got the hoodie up now.
They call
it is
a false start.
The temperature is dropping. It's about 34, 33 when I took the dogs outside at halftime. So it's getting chilly. Going to be in the 20s tonight for sure. So when you're just standing around on the sideline, I don't care how heated you are about bad officiating. You need a bigger coat. You need a bigger coat, Kyle. He's probably all fancy. He's probably got one of those battery-powered vests on underneath. He's just like, everybody's going to think I'm tough.
Makita makes those, by the way.
They're
really good battery-powered jackets.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I don't like it for my Brock Purdy under, but that's a really good ball from Brock Purdy. When we talk about in structure of the offense, that's the kind of play we're talking about. Take your 3 or 5 step drop, go through 1 or 2 progressions, not the sort of annotated half field read, boot rollout. We're going to give you some manufactured completions. No, just take a straight 3 or 5 step drop, look 1, look 2, maybe look 3. Then if you want to run or, get out, throw it out of bounds, do whatever. But that's within the structure, within the first 3 seconds of what a play is designed to do. It's a really nice little play and structure from Purdy and a really nice defensive run stop from the Hawks.
EJ, how far do you live from the stadium? When we took the train up there, it was like a half hour on the train. I don't know how long it is by car, but train's like the easiest way to go. So
like, as the crow flies, it's probably 20-ish miles, 18, 19 miles, something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
But as you know, as the crow flies is not the way traffic goes. However, they are building out the light rail, and the furthest southern stop that they are in the process of completing will be just a few minutes north of my house. So I'll be able to take an Uber or get dropped off at the train station and literally get dropped off at the stadium parking lot, because there is a station in the International District that is across the street from the stadium. You just go across the street, down a set of steps, and you're in the stadium parking lot. So it literally couldn't be easier to get there for me.
If you're an opposing fan, if you get a chance, go to a game in Seattle. Beyond the fact that the atmosphere is great and the fans are great and everything, and Seattle's just an amazing town, you will be spoiled by how easy it is to get in and out of a football game in that town. Like, you compare it to SoFi, which is like fucking Mad Max when you're trying to leave.
Yeah,
it's night and day different. It is the easiest by far stadium I have ever. Well, I don't know. DKR in Austin's not bad either, just because like the neighborhoods just kind of spill into it and you can walk there.
I was gonna say, you forget that we walked for like an hour after the game at DKR to get an Uber.
True, but there was like 100,000 people there, so that makes sense. But it's still better than SoFi. Way
better than SoFi. Better than Allegiant. Allegiant out is okay. Allegiant in is still
Allegiant in is hard.
a long line. Like
Yeah.
it's a great stadium. I would highly recommend going there. And yes, you can just walk from the strip if you're staying like near the Luxor area. You can just walk across the bridge and be right at the stadium, which is really cool. But once you get there, it is the sea of humanity waiting to get in. And somehow the gate that we go in, which is nearest the train stop, you just breeze through, even if it's a full stadium, and it usually is. I think the most time I've ever spent in a line there, it's like 13
You're
minutes.
talking
And
at Lumen?
and
Yeah.
usually it's like 5, like 8. You just go up, scan your phone, couple of tickets, in you go. Like, go get a beer.
I've been to three, I think 3 games there now. Um, and I think the longest time I ever waited was the one that we went to this year.
Yeah, and that was
It
nothing.
was
That was
nothing.
like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody said Soldier's the worst. Soldier's rough because it's down on the lakefront and the public transportation doesn't go right to it, even if you take the L. The nearest stop is a decent walk. And look, you're walking with a mass of Bears fans as you go, so that's part of the experience as well. But the game I went to there was in December. Weather was a little iffy. It was kind of sleeting, snowing, slushing. It's a walk, and you're with Bears fans, and you're going to a game. It's cool, but there isn't a really easy option. If you're trying to park or tailgate or anything, yeah, it's Soldier's tough because it's right down on the water. There's one way in, one way out.
Jared traded Devontae, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Jacobs, a second and a fourth for Josh Allen and Nico Collins. There's, ooh, honey,
Hi.
sweetie, baby,
uh,
come on now.
come on now. You're killing me with this.
Even before the season, come
Yeah.
on now.
Yeah. Geishan asks, EJ, why did you choose to live in Washington State? I came back here to go to college. So I spent 3 years in elementary school here. We lived with my great grandmother for a year and a half, and then we had our own house in Seattle. Moved back to upstate New York to finish the rest of middle school and high school. But then when it came time to go to college, I chose to go to college out here. So I moved back and I've stayed ever since. So a little bit of family on both sides. Most folks know my dad's side's mostly in Buffalo, and around the sort of upstate New York, Pennsylvania area. My mom's side largely is Washington State, these days. So kind of the two hubs for my family in the country, but I like not having to shovel living on the west side. It snows here, 2-3 times a year, and it usually melts off within a day or two. And it rains a lot. It's dark and cloudy, and you have to deal with that. But I like not being snowed in for months. I grew up with that. I lived in snow for when I was a kid. It was 5.5, 6 months of snow where I lived, and it's nice. It's a beautiful place to live. Got water, got mountains, tons of great forests. Really worked for what I was doing, when I got here, mountain biking and whitewater kayaking, and enjoy, for the most part, the space of living out west. It's very different. I'm always reminded when I go back east that, the East Coast has been around and doing what it's doing for a couple of 100 years longer than the West Coast. And I don't know. It fits for the most part. Will I be here forever? Who knows? But I like my time here. It's a beautiful place to be, especially from June to October.
It's summer. Summer is what you like. Oh, another
June to
split
October
gun.
is beautiful, beautiful in the Northwest.
Fascinating little split zone there from a split gun look with a little locket on the wheel at the snap. Positively Mike McDanielsy.
Well, positively not Pete Carrolley.
No.
That's, you can really tell that,
this is not Pete's cup of tea.
Yeah, Shane Waldron has is that Brooks?
Stinger?
I don't need that. I don't know.
I think it's
55 is.
they're working on his neck. So
55 is Brooks. If he's a linebacker, it's probably a Stinger. No, 56 is Brooks.
Yeah.
Is it 56?
I think it was 56.
I think it was.
Oh, Gino got out of that? Oh, and they call a hold.
That's an evergreen little call for tonight. Oh, Gino got out of that? He's gotten out of a lot of trouble tonight and continues to do so, and that's not something new for tonight. He's been consistent with really good, I mean, high level pocket movement. First with the evasion, second to reset the base and keep the eyes down the field and then make plays. Not all quarterbacks in the NFL do that. I would say about half do it consistently, and maybe a third do it at a high level. And Geno has been one of the high level third all throughout this year.
Yeah. I think they called, or they, I think they're having a conversation about a hold.
Well, you know, you and I do that occasionally. What are you doing? We're just talking about a hold.
Oh, they called a hold on defense, 2 holds on defense, and hands to the face on defense. Okay.
Let's see what all this is about.
Called on Bosa?
Yep, there's the hands to the face. Pushed his helmet right off. Cross gave it to him. Cross gave it to him.
That'll do it.
Oh!
I love the...
Dre Greenlaw just massacring Lockett.
He fucking just whipped him upside the head. Oh, man. I love the fight from Cross, though.
Yeah, Cross is like, you will not get near my quarterback, helmet or not, thank you very much.
He just fucking slapped Lockett in the face.
Yeah, he's like, you're little. Man. You're running the wrong way, man. Yeah, no, I appreciate the fight from Cross. Bosa is a tough assignment, and you will take your L's versus him. He is one of the preeminent pass rushers in the league, and you're not going to win every time. But, you know, when you get a chance to stand your ground, put him on the ground, get on top of him and remind him that he's not going to win them all, you got to do it because he's going to get his.
Watching him and Trent go at it, full contact, because luckily I was there on padded days. That was a religious experience for me.
For sure.
Oh my God. It's watching 2 Hall of Famers in their prime, you know, pure competition. And Trent would literally walk up to the line and fucking point at him and say, "Come here." And Bosa's like, "You want it, you got it." And just 3 days, locking horns. It was fucking awesome.
But you're only there for 3 days.
I know, but that's all I needed to see that. I could die happy now. That was half the reason I wanted to go, was just to watch that.
For sure.
All right, I think we're up to date on Super Chats. Let me double check. Yeah, looks like, if we missed any from earlier that the YouTube stream interface decided to not show us, please let me know.
Or, you know, if we're calling, say, a player by the wrong number for like a half, you know, just
they did. We just didn't see it.
I know. I'm just taking our L's for that. So I appreciate y'all bearing with us. Almost 500 people hanging out on a Thursday night for a game that is probably decided at this point.
I don't know. Weird stuff happens in Seahawks games in prime time.
That's why I'm couching it with probably.
It's one of those where it's like 90% sure, but that 10% happens a whole lot more than 10% for Seattle.
Both saying. Good and bad. I've lived through the bad at that point. It was early CenturyLink.
When I was at the Seattle at Rams a couple weeks ago, there was something like when Geno got the ball late, you just knew that he was going to go down and get it. Like, there was nothing that was going to stop him on that drive. He's had that kind of year.
He was pretty dialed up, and last week was a bit of an aberration. Started off rough against the Panthers, just kind of roller coastered through the whole game, and it was uncharacteristic. That was more characteristic of early Geno Smith in his career. Has not been at all the case this year. He has been ridiculously consistent and, you know, doing well. I don't mean just like holding his own or game manager consistent. I mean consistent at a high level. Oh, did he get the edge? He got the edge.
Got it.
Nice job by Kenneth Walker.
Where was it? Denim Sheree wanted to know Deshaun over Tua question mark. I'm assuming because of the snow. I would probably say yes because of the weather. A combination of the weather and also teams a little bit having the formula for how to handle Miami's offense right now in terms of like same way people play against Jimmy. Like we're going to take away the middle of the field. We dare you to beat us outside the numbers. Combine that with weather, and yeah, I'd probably move off Tua this week.
Oh boy.
Bosa again.
Nah, it's just the pass rush in general. It is Bosa, but he wasn't the only one. Again, this is a matchup that you're going to see a lot for a long time, Charles Cross versus Bosa, but he defeats his hands as he's going around him, like in the same motion. Double swipe, get off me. He's already bending and cornering when he does that. So as soon as he's clear and can get his hands back, he's literally laying them on Geno Smith.
That's what having flexible hips and really good contact balance does for a pass rusher.
Yeah.
It's all about good hips, feet,
and
hand-eye
and all
coordination.
one motion, just one continuous sort of sinewy motion, everything working together. And that's, you're just cutting, the whole goal is to cut half a step off, right? And he cut off almost a full step. Interesting on that run from Kenneth Walker, a couple of plays back. Wanted to talk about a concept that we don't talk about. We talk about X's and O's a lot, but we don't talk about the concept of pressing your blocks from running backs. And the idea for a running back is that his counterpart across the line is a linebacker, in this case, a safety coming down. For every step that the running back stays in his lane towards the line, the defender has to stay in his. So if the running back breaks that off early, it allows the defender to adjust his angle earlier. If a running back presses his blocks or presses the run, and you actually saw Kenneth Walker make his break late enough in that run that he had to basically hop over the legs of the guy hitting the cross block in front of him. It was as late as he possibly could without basically connecting hips with him. That means the defender is deep towards the line of scrimmage in his lane. And Kenneth Walker is using that to draw him in, then make his break so that the defender has to change his angle very sharply, has to make a hard cut, just like he's making a hard cut. And reminds me of the torpedo scene from Hunt for Red October, right? Don't break yet. Don't break yet. And Kenneth Walker is basically gambling, I can make a harder cut than you can. So I'm going to pull you as close to the line of scrimmage as I can by pressing this block. Then I'm going to cut. You're going to have to do the same. And I think I can do it better than you can. In that case, he could. And you saw 38 basically just grasping about a hand's width off the back of his jersey, trying to catch him as he basically accelerated around, got the corner, and got the yards up the edge. If he breaks that run earlier, the defensive back can break earlier and he can just angle him to the sideline, and then there's no lane. If he brings him in, he can cut and run by him. So it's all about bait. Come on. I stay, you got to stay. Now I'm going to go, and I think I can go towards the outside better than you can. Turns out on that play he could.
We had a good question in chat from Jaden Norris. Brett, can you explain Palms coverage? I will say this is exactly the kind of thing that getting this book will help with. Because this explains palms and every other kind of coverage you could probably ever think of. But for the sake of helping you out, yes, I will explain it here and now, so you have a good idea of what we're looking at when we talk about palms. It's a variation of, so some people call it two read, as in cover two read. So it's considered a variation of cover two, but it's like if quarters and cover two kind of had a baby, sort of. So two read, that's true. To read how it works, so let's just pretend this is a nickel, right? So you got a nickel corner, or not M. Oh shit! Oh god, Brett, what are you doing?
Uh-oh.
So nickel corner, right? Outside corner, safety. So normal cover two is flat zone, hook zone, deep half, right? So how palms works, or two read works, is if this guy is vertical past the linebacker, this safety will carry him man to man. And this corner, If this guy's vertical, we'll carry this X man to man. He's not playing a flat zone, he's carrying it. However, if number 2, remember you're counting outside in. So if number 2 is not going vertical past the linebacker and he's out quick, this corner will come off and trap him here. So he's reading 2 to number 1. This corner will then trap him in the flat, and the safety will then match 1 vertical. So that's how Palms plays out. And so when 2 is out and when 2 is out and he's going, it just looks like normal cover 2 because he's playing the flat. But it's a read. You're reading 2 to 1, and it's determined by what the number 2 receiver is doing, if he's vertical or if he's to the flat. That is called Palms coverage. I'm not sure why they call it Palms. I happen to like the 2 read name better because it just tells you what it is. It's cover 2 that you're reading. But yeah, hope that helped.
Oh, okay. Here's where special teams helps. The Seahawks have a great punter. They get smashed on offensive pass pro again. 3 rushers end up in Geno's grill. He has 1 fall on his legs. He doesn't really take a huge shot. He limps a little bit to the sidelines. I get it. They get a punt. They get a roll. They down it at the half-yard line. Like field swing-wise, from losing 8 to 10 yards on a sack, being pushed back, to making the 49ers offense start at the half-yard line in a very loud house. It's the best you're going to get off a bad play.
It wouldn't be a Thursday night game without a legendary punt at this point. It's the one thing we're getting on TNF this year is good punts.
It doesn't get better than this.
Yeah.
They get a good push. Oh, they got a hand on it. They got a hand on the pad.
I respect the balls to throw off the goal line, though.
Yeah, with Brock Purdy, right? Guy in his 3rd NFL game, period. And they're like, yeah, he's got it, but really good. Man, if you can't get there, get your hand in the lane. And defensive lineman, well-trained, right? Not going to get there, get your hand up. See if you can get a hand on that ball, and does, and burns it down. Now puts them under even more pressure because they still don't have any real estate to work with. And if the Seahawks defense gets a safety here, this place is going to erupt. Like, I'll probably hear it at my house. And again, I live like 20 miles away.
What is a weakness of Palms coverage? Okay, this is fascinating. So
you can't build a treehouse in it?
Such a dad. Yeah. So what some people like to do is this little outcut. They'll do kind of like a hesitation, right? So especially, let's just pretend this is the hash and this is the boundary side, so this is the short side of the field. They'll do like a hesitation on it, because remember, if he's playing over the top and he's going 1 vertical, he'll just kind of work and cut to that. So they'll do like a hesitate. So like this slot will like slow play it and then release out late. And so by that point, a lot of the times this corner is already going vertical, right? Because he's looking for something out quick. And if he's not getting something out quick, if they like hezi on the release a little bit, he's already here and he's kind of looking at number 1, 2. And so you just kind of get like free access to the boundary, and you just throw these little quick hitters over and over and over again and just frustrate the fuck out of them until they stop calling it. And once they're in like normal cover 2 or something like that, then other stuff opens up.
Oh, and they got it.
Good hero ball to Jennings.
If you're going to throw a gotta-have-it pass and you're the 49ers, you're going to throw it to the big body. It's going to be a tight, contested throw. He's going to get contact. He gets a ton of contact, holds on to that over the marker, and they get the first down. You're just going to throw it to the big heavy and be like, look, you're going to take a hit here. I need you to hold on. Yeah, that's clutch.
Yeah, this could be a game sealing drive here if they keep it going for a while.
I at this point with their defense, it's hard to feel like
Mm.
this game's not pretty well sealed.
What if
Yeah,
two goes in quickly? Well then this defender right here, well, he's going to be inside leverage, so this is drawn inaccurately on my port. He's going to be inside leverage, and he's just going to wall the shit out of him so that he can't get inside. He's going to make life hell for him if he tries to go in.
all right. Need like 10 yards from CMC over the last 11 minutes.
Doable. I think.
I think. Oh, if he hits him here, angle route, hit him. Oh, terrible. That's a terrible throw. He's looking for the flag, and he probably should get one because CMC got mugged by not one but two linebackers. But a little earlier. That's something Purdy's going to grow into. Somebody asked earlier about Purdy weaknesses. There are some things he doesn't see super quickly. He sees a lot of it very quickly for a rookie. But like that one, CMC was open for a while, maybe second and a half if you're being generous, and then he threw it and coverage was closed and he got mugged as a result.
So we're going empty here on 3rd and 10.
Flags.
False start on Trent, I think.
Not getting anything.
Brett, I'm a high school student from Europe and want to pursue sports journalism as a career in the U.S. How do y'all think about the industry at all? Is it realistic to make it a career? Honestly, there's probably more opportunities to cover the NFL specifically in Europe right now because it's an emerging market. I would start out covering it in Europe. To be perfectly honest, the sport's growing immensely there. And I think that if you can become a dominant voice on NFL in whatever home country you're in, that's a really opportune moment for you.
Whoa.
I think Spencer Burford just got run the fuck over. Man, that was brutal.
But guess what Brock Purdy did in Lumen Field?
Got it out.
The Russ move.
Yeah. Spin out.
This is the patented Russell Wilson, right? Stand. Flip the hips, get to the outside, backside.
Aren't we getting 2 Germany NFL games next year? I thought we were just getting one in it's not Munich, it's Frankfurt, right?
Oh, he didn't catch it.
Yeah, that hit the ground. I think it's just one in Frankfurt. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
They're not going to challenge it. They're just going to let him punt. Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Just going to let him punt. Oh, they are going to challenge it?
Field position, I guess.
Oh, come on, Pete.
I mean, he's not going to lose a timeout, but I know that the NFL eventually wants there to be obviously the London games and the Germany game and a Paris game and a Madrid or Barcelona game.
And a Mexico City game.
And a Mexico City game. And probably a Toronto game.
Toronto game for sure.
I don't know I don't even know if the Bills want a Toronto game. I mean, maybe they do, but
of course they do. They have a ton of Bills fans across the border. Ton of them.
It's more so about losing home game ticket revenue unless the league makes them whole, but
they're going to, I mean, that the whole point of expansion is not necessarily money making. I mean, in terms of what it costs to mount a game and do all the press for a game in Germany, even though the stadium was absolutely packed, every seat sold out in seconds, you're still not making any money on that game, right? It's not about that. It's about all the exposure, the revenue, the expansion into a market. And all of these games are terribly expensive, right? It's not easy to throw a game in Mexico City, right? It's not just we'll just go down to Mexico for the weekend and play a game. If you know anything about everything that goes on to put an NFL game on, even at a stadium where they happen, 14 times a year, including the preseason or whatever it is, it is not an easy thing to put on, not an easy thing to move. And then you add international customs to all of that. The order of magnitude goes up a lot.
Mexico game is canceled for stadium renovations for the next World Cup. So it's 2 German games. Interesting. So maybe it's going to be Munich and Frankfurt. I thought it was just Frankfurt.
Yeah, I actually think they want to go to both. And it would make sense for both of them to put one on.
Okay, well now we got a better shot of going. I'm down for that. Yeah.
If they won't, but if they made them close in the schedule,
Yeah, just do both.
go hang out.
Yeah. Do a three
Do a
week a 3 week Germany excursion, do Munich, and then they'll probably have an off week and then Frankfurt. Yeah.
Yeah, and we could like hop over to the UK in the week
Pop
in
over
between.
London for a game, see the
Yeah,
Jags beat somebody, and
pop
then
pop over to London and hang out, see all the UK fans, Irish
so
fans come down.
here's the problem, EJ.
Oh, is there a problem?
If it's late October, we're supposed to be at Red Bull Rampage.
Oh, did Snyder invite you? Did he?
Yeah, he said we should come out.
Dude, you should come out. You should take your 1x400. You'd kill it there.
Dude, he
Um,
runs the event. Like I just
oh, I know him. I know who he is. Yeah. Red Bull's a tough event to be at. Like it's an amazing event, but it's out in the middle of Virgin, Utah. It's dusty. It's super hot. It's far from anywhere. You got to take everything in with you, including water. Like you got to haul your own stuff. It's a challenging physical event to be at. Like you're hanging out in the desert. There's storms,
I've always
mudslides.
wanted to go though, so bad.
Oh yeah, it's gorgeous. And your 1x400 would be bomb.
Oh
there.
yeah.
Like you would make money there. Plus you get to hang out with Sterl.
And it's just I mean Zion's right there. Like
Yeah. There's certainly other stuff to do, but yeah. You will lose your mind though if you lose your mind on an NFL field. Wait till you see 19-year-olds hucking 50-foot cliff gaps. And you're just like, oh,
because I'll watch like the GoPro videos of them just fucking sending it down the side of this cliff. I'm like, you people are insane, and I love it. I've always wanted to go to Rampage.
yeah. No, Rampage is great. It's good times.
There should really be an Amsterdam game. I agree. Every European
Why not?
country should get one.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They had the Admirals for a long time.
Yeah.
And they got the Scottish Claymores. Come on. We'll bring back NFL Europe. We'll just do the rotation.
All right. Seahawks. What you got, Gino? Down by 15. Not completely unwinnable with 10.5 left. You need one good drive here, then a stop, then another good drive. Let's see if we got it.
Gino had a little space, and then he got massacred.
Oh. You got sandwiched.
He got cracked. That man, he's gonna feel it tomorrow when he wakes up. He got hit a lot. I mean, we say that. Oops, late flag, super late flag.
Are we calling roughing again?
I don't know if we're calling roughing. I don't know what we're calling here. Oh man.
Oh, intentional grounding. Okay.
Calling grounding.
Interesting.
Yeah, no receivers around. He's not outside the tackle box. Didn't make it past the line of scrimmage, so it fits all the descriptions of grounding.
I thought there was a tight end there when he did it, but I guess not.
No. He's throwing that one to space, and it doesn't make it past the line of scrimmage. If it had made it past the line of scrimmage, it would have been okay. But basically, the rule is you got to put that ball in play for the defense if you're going to sort of give up on a sack by just whipping it away.
Yeah.
That one didn't meet the minimum requirements, so oh, look at his feet. He's got happy feet. So bad.
He knows they're coming.
Oh, he does at this point. And he's been
1.5
seconds,
man.
This is not me blaming Gino one bit for any of this. Like, I would have had happy feet after the first one, during the first one. This is not an easy task for a pro quarterback to go against D'Amico Ryan's defense right now. And just for balance, D'Amico is also wearing a sweatshirt. I probably should have given him shit for it, but he looks completely comfortable. And the last person in the world I think I would give shit to is D'Amico Ryan. So
he still looks like he could play.
Oh, I was gonna say he looks like you take that off, throw some pads on, and be like, "No, Dre, do it this way."
Yeah, has not aged a day.
No.
Come on, Gino, throw up a deep ball. I don't think he has the time to, guys.
Yeah,
he does not have time.
There is the necessary component of you can only throw it so high and let somebody run under it, and you got to have a few seconds to do that. And D'Amico has no intention of his defense giving Gino any kind of luxury like that. They're going to hit him as much as they can. There is it is a brutal sport, but there is no mercy in the NFL. They're not going to let up one bit. They smell blood in the water, they're going to go harder.
Yep.
They're like, hey, you don't want him hit, pull him. You want to pull him. And, typically that doesn't happen. So, no, they are going to pin their ears back and come. They've got a lead. They know he's going to have to throw. They max protect. Gino has plenty of time. Oh, he gets creative. But here's the thing. They get creative. He pulls off an amazing play, and the second level of the defense is there within like 3 yards.
That was a great catch by Travis Homer, too.
Tremendous catch by Travis. Crazy, inventive play by Gino. We'll just call it that. But even so, what do they get on the stat sheet? They get a 3-yard gain for all that effort. You have to work that hard to get a 3-yard gain against this defense.
I think Nick Bosa might have like 15 pressures tonight. Like, it's been every play.
Yeah. He's a guy that when he's healthy is capable of those kind of performances where he is just always there and you always have to have 2 guys on him. And the one time you try and, single him or not chip him or whatever else is he'll just come in and smash your quarterback. So he's a difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's better than his brother, and I really liked his brother, but I think Nick's the better Bosa.
I agree. And Joey's a phenomenal player.
Right.
Nick's just that dude. There's no other way to say it. And it's so funny because even when he went to Ohio State, everybody was like, oh, when Joey was coming out, everybody's like, yeah, just wait till you see his brother. And like he hadn't even played yet. And then his brother got there and we're like, oh.
It's like the St. Brown argument, right? And they're always saying, wait for the next one. And it turns out that the youngest one might be the craziest athlete of the bunch, which is saying something.
That's
because
true. Yeah.
Brothers play in the NFL.
Because when Equinemius came out, I believe Amon-Ra had just left Mater Dei. I think when Equinemius entered the league, he had just left Mater Dei. And, he was at Notre Dame. He was a highly recruited kid. And there was a third St. Brown, too, which was...
that's the one.
No, Amon-Ra was the youngest, I believe. And then the other one went to Stanford. But Amon-Ra was the youngest. But he was a 5-star because he was playing with JT Daniels when JT was setting every CIF record. And even though Equinemius was like in the NFL, pinnacle of what you can do as a football player, and he's been in the NFL for like 5 or 6 years, which is fucking rare. Even back then, everybody's like, but Amon-Ra's better.
Yeah.
And they were right.
Joey even says Nick is better. I bet he does because he looks at the tape and goes, I'm good, but I can't do that.
Uh-huh. It's just the power. He's got better power than Joey. Joey's got great hips, great fluidity, quickness, hands, everything like that. But it's just that added dimension of like when he has to absolutely run over you, he can do that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of both, right? They're guys that have one thing that's great power, great hands, great quickness, great bend, right? They're all going to be able to play in the league if they're great at one of those things. Bosa is built like a block of granite. It's quick, just liquid quick. Can bend even with all that muscle, and has very good hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So he's got twitch or burst, whatever you want to call it, both, right? Reaction time, ability to press the edge. He's got great physical power. He's got quick hands.
He's got everything.
And he can bend. Like, what do you do? And the answer is not much. When he's healthy, you don't do much. Like, I don't care who you are. He takes you apart. And that's the best tackles on the planet. He's just one of those guys that, as a football player, he is incredibly gifted and skilled.
Thank you, Mark, in chat. Osiris St. Brown was the middle child who went to Stanford. The only one who didn't make the NFL. But 2 out of 3, not bad. Miss Super Chat, Brett, I sent you a DM on Discord explaining the Allen trade. Oh, this will be fucking good.
Oh, this will be fucking good. Oh, right, I think we got it. Check the slip.
There he goes.
That ought to be that for Christian McCaffrey yards.
So Jared said, okay, for starters, this is my second year doing fantasy and my first doing dynasty, so I'm still learning trade values and all that. It was the trade deadline, so there was a get something done now mentality. It was right after the Saints game, and I had no trust in the Raiders, and my only quarterbacks were Rodgers and Brady. Okay, that makes a little sense. It was before the Allen arm injury. Looking back, I could have done better than Nico Collins, but Michigan bias got the best of me. I'm sorry, I'll be better.
I'll be better. I don't know. I think you were pretty good, Jared.
Contextually, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Those Michigan fans, man.
And just big blue fans. Rich Eisen could tell you something about that. So McCaffrey's good. Let's check that second slip from the first half.
Let me see here. Reload that.
Brooks one I'm a little worried about because I don't think he's in the game right now.
McCaffrey hit the over on yours.
Okay, good.
DK hit the over, I believe, on 8.5 targets, I think. Jordan,
I think he went out with an injury, and he's at 8 right now, and he needed to be at 10 or 11 to win. But the injury is going to cut him down. If he was still in, he'd be making those tackles on McCaffrey.
So I think you hit a 4 out of 5, which still pays $40.
I know.
So we still win.
Oh, look out. Yeah, I didn't get the Brock yards. Not with that pass. Oh, man.
But does that help me get... So Brock Purdy over second half hit. I need Geno to get like 50 yards by the end of the quarter. And then we're positive. I mean, we're already positive for the day.
How can you do this?
What do you mean?
If you're the Seahawks and you have been burned twice tonight. So this is O'Keefe, the tight end for the 49ers. You have been twice burned by tight ends, basically either down the numbers or outside the numbers. Twice when you've been playing roughly single high, right? And you do it a third time. Like, the first one, I get it. Like, again, Brett said they haven't run that play probably since 2018 at the last. It's a play designed to, again, stretch the defense laterally and then puncture it with a tight end run right down the middle. And Kittle's the perfect weapon to do that. But they did it again, not the same play, but the same concept. You're getting a tight end in space down that sort of long vertical diagonal. And then they just did it again. And totally different formation.
Well,
but
it's one of those where it's like, first one's you're double pumping 2 different screens, then you're pump and go outside, and it's all misdirection. It's all smoke and mirrors.
I'll give him the first one, but after the first 2, oh boy,
isn't O'Keefe on the Bucks?
Yeah,
he is.
That's I knew that was wrong as soon as I said it.
81. It's the Georgia kid that we liked, right?
No, it isn't. It is.
Oh, Tyler Kroft.
I
forgot
Kroft,
he was there.
Not Keefe. I couldn't read that. As soon as I said that, I was like, didn't Keefe go to work KDOT? Damn it. Good call, chat. And we caught it this time before we said the wrong thing for a whole half. So we're getting better. We're learning. 1% slightly better than worse. Yeah.
Did Purdy hit the over? For the second half, yes. And also, I think for full game, I think he did too, which is bad for me. But
yeah, I had him under 205, and I am pretty darn sure he's 217 right now with that big toss to Kroft. And look, that was always going to be the thing. If Purdy hit a couple of deep balls in this game, either to Ayuk or Kittle or doesn't matter.
I needed Ayuk to not drop that.
Yeah,
that killed me.
If he hit a couple, you'll notice we didn't bet on any kickers tonight, though.
I know. You can give me shit.
I will.
But you would have hit the over on gold, by the way. So
that's true. Oh yeah, really?
I did it again. God damn it, EJ.
Robbie Gold, like the gold standard, guy's been tremendous in San Francisco, and you're like, oh yeah, but you're getting this. I was like watching it bend.
Why did I say it before he kicked?
Because you haven't learned anything.
Oh my God.
Well, that's not true. You said it, but you didn't bet on it. Last time you bet on it and said it, and
unbelievable.
That hurt more. This hurts, but only for the people that didn't listen to us and kept betting on kickers. Brett, why? Says Chad. Why? It's the Tanya Harding thing. Nancy Kerrigan. Why? Oh my goodness.
Fucking hell.
Well, Brock Purdy got his. That keeps me at 4 out of 5, but that's a money slip. Pays more than our entry fee.
We made money today.
Yeah,
So
not bad. So if you tailed the slip, you too made some money.
yeah. Can't go broke making a profit. Just saying.
Yeah, that's true. Logan Skinner, $5 on the super chat. Facing Kittle in fantasy this week looks like it's gonna be a rough week. Well, it's not a good start. Let's put it that way.
What's he at?
He is their leading receiver, 4 for 93 and 2 scores.
Yikes.
For a tight end, that's rough territory. That is above average tight end production.
So
for those of you that play fantasy.
If you're going against him and CMC, if there's some Niners fan that took both of them, sorry, you lose. Better luck next year. That's terrible.
Not great. It's pretty much all their yards. Christian McCaffrey currently at 99 rushing yards, 4.1 per with a touchdown. Kittle at 93 receiving yards, 23.2 average for a tight end. Wow. And a touchdown. Or sorry, 2 touchdowns. And then Christian McCaffrey coming in with 6 catches for 30 yards. So if you look at it, it's basically 225-ish yards of their overall offensive output is just CMC and Kittle. And this is the way the 49ers offense runs. Lately, CMC has been one of the 2 guys, but then the other guy rotates. Some weeks it's Ayuk, some weeks it's Kittle, some weeks it's Juwan Jennings. Like they just, and again, when Debo's healthy, it's often Debo is the second guy, which is a whole nother thing that the Hawks really didn't even have to deal with. And still, it looks like this. The 49ers with Brock Purdy at quarterback are a whole different thing.
A better thing than they were 3 weeks ago.
All right, here you go.
All right, Gino.
We got our DK, we got our Gino. Like, let's go. Now's the time.
So you hit yours on that. So we're up $40 as it is. And then if Gino just gets me like another 40 yards on this drive, we're up like $80 on the day. Ish, somewhere around there.
Oh, there it is. Oh, he didn't quite get it to him. It's a little bit short. He short-armed it. That's a pretty big throw. For those of you that are like, why didn't he just get it there? Like, he was opposite hash, going to the opposite sideline, pretty deep, 15 to 18 yards, but you got to add about 10 to 12 yards going across the field.
Yeah.
And he had pressure. Like, that's a big throw. It's a long completion. If you stand on a football field and try that without getting hit by Samson Ebukam on the way back.
He got rolled up.
Well, no, they hit the back of the ball too as he went back. If you've ever tried that, if your friends ever stood behind you when you go to throw a football and
it definitely impacts the throw.
And you're like, oh, come on.
What I'm saying, Ebukam went down because when he rolled and then somebody landed on top of him, and I think he might have got his ankle turned there.
Yeah, it didn't.
Rough. He's a really good player.
He's already had a sack earlier, and I got kicked from the playoffs on a win and you're weak. And because of Evan Engram, a week after I set a perfect lineup and I was rolling, fantasy hurts. Yes, Evan Engram blew up my slip last week because I had Christian Kirk for like 53 yards and I took the over, and it's Evan Engram week instead for 2 touchdowns. He had a very Kittle-like performance.
Out of nowhere.
For the first time for the Jags since he's joined Jacksonville.
11 for 162 and 2 tutties.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, there's all my Christian Kirk yards. They're in your bucket. Can I have them back?
That's brutal. Like the one time he goes off.
Yep. And that's, again, the slip looked just as good last week as it did this week. Oh, Gino got away with one.
That was almost a house call.
That was really close to going the other way, but game of inches, Hawks convert it to their credit. They get the first down. They keep the ball moving.
And I get more yards.
And you get your yards. So everybody wins on that one.
All right,
and it's not really going to threaten the 49ers' chances of winning. So even the 49ers fans
win. Well, I don't know. If they score quickly, they still got 2 timeouts. They can get a stop. It's not completely crazy. I mean, it's crazy, but not completely
I was going to say, were they really, though?
Hey, okay. Last Thursday, no timeouts, under 2 minutes. Fucking Baker Mayfield drove 98 yards throwing to Van Jefferson and Ben Skoranek and Tutu goddamn Atwell. I'm not counting them out.
Oh, they get it here and then some. Kenneth Walker foot race. Hufanga is got it. Oh, come on. Give him the flag. That's Bush League, Hufanga. You don't have to do that.
Well, he kind of had a hand in his face. I don't think he knew where he was.
What? We're not talking about the same thing.
Are you talking about the tackling him out of bounds?
No, he tackled him out of bounds and he pulled him back down when he tried to get up. Bear hugged him from the back and yanked him back down. I'm sorry. That's a flag.
Oh,
Get off
I
that.
didn't see that. Got it.
There you go.
Got it. See?
I
3:35, 2 timeouts.
I understand. And Gino was cold as ice at the end of the Rams game. Cold as ice. It's possible. But now I almost jumped on the Noah Fant anytime touchdown scorer square, but I was like, oh, that's just playing with fire. He doesn't score all that often.
If you bust a coverage, he does.
I know. That's pulling one out of the hat. I was not brave enough to venture into those waters, but people that were paying it off.
It's a whole ball game now. You need one stop.
Yeah.
Stadium's going to be loud.
It's true. If the 49ers falter, false start, who knows? Offensive lineman hands to the face on the defensive lineman, something like that, and they get put in a hole behind the sticks here. Yeah, the Hawks could do it. They have weapons, unlike the Panthers, who we were talking about, who beat the Hawks last week. The Hawks do have weapons for quick strike. They got DK. Lockett can catch moon balls. We just saw Fant. Fant is very quick for a tight end down the seam. You get him matched up on Gibson, go for it. Fant will win that probably 8 times out of 10. And Gino can throw him. Gino has good deep ball accuracy. So this is not a team that doesn't have lightning in the bottle for one play. They do. It's just, boy, the defense has been really good. Boy, they haven't given them a lot of time to throw. Boy, the offense has been grinding out, first downs. They have slowed down quite a bit. Again, most of their points scored in the first half. They scored 1 in the third, and that's all they've scored. So second half adjustments, I got to give it to Clint and the defense. They've kept them to only 7 points in the second half. And again, for this offensive unit, that's a good showing.
We're not doing onside here, are we, guys?
I don't know. No, we are not.
Okay. It kind of looked like it for a second. I was a little bit worried there. If roughing the passer isn't called earlier, this game is over already. Probably, yeah. Because that would have been 28-3.
Nope. Nope. That 28-3 with Kyle Shanahan. Oh, that's impossible.
Maybe Brock Purdy is Tom Brady. Who knows?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Except that working for him this time.
Yeah, that would have been something. So maybe it's good that roughing the passer got called. Kept them away from 28-3 versus Kyle Shanahan. Oh, my God.
Brett, is there a book like the Pass Coverage Glossary but for offense? Probably. I'd have to think, though. Let me think on that.
Oh, boy. This goes right back to Jordan Reed's tweet at halftime that the Hawks have a problem up the middle. And this is something that Brett and I talked about off camera before the pod. Didn't make it into the pod is, boy, the Panthers gashed the Seahawks up the middle. At the end of the game that the Panthers came to Seattle and beat the Seahawks last week, boy, Panthers ran it at will for big yards up the middle, 10, 12 yards a pop, about 3 times right at the end of the game. And it was like, everybody's going to see that.
Al Woods.
Al Woods. Yeah. No, and that offensive line is just hammering, right? And it does wear you down, that Panthers offensive line. Well, the 49ers offensive line is a bunch of tough guys too. And everybody in terms of offensive coordinators is going to see that film and go, okay.
Yeah.
We can attack that soft middle. We're going to. Guess what? We're going to do some power running offensive line, something to fire up offensive linemen, go hit somebody in the mouth.
That's why I'm thinking, if they even get a shot at Jalen Carter, they have to.
Well, Carter's not the only one, though, because you can do what the Hawks do on the interior without a high pick. Al Woods is not a high pick.
It's about getting a game breaker, though.
Is it, though, a defensive tackle? I don't think it is. I think game breakers, yes, but not necessarily a defensive tackle.
I think it makes things a hell of a lot easier for Nwosu and
I
Boye.
I don't
And
disagree. I don't disagree. I like their edges in Nwosu and Boye Mafe, but you can get defensive tackles who are good and can do the same types of things in the third, in the fourth, in the fifth. So you don't necessarily have to spend number 2 or number 3 saying, I need this.
oh, Brock got it.
Yep.
And he slid. Clock's running.
Yep.
What? Oh my God, this kid.
Clutch.
This kid
Clutch. And look at him. He's like, yeah, so what?
just expects it. He expects
Yep.
it.
Cool as a cucumber. He's like, yeah, I've done that before.
Ice in his veins, man.
Yeah. He's like, I did it against Iowa Ag and Tech. Why can't I do it against an NFL team?
Oh, this fucking kid.
Look at
I
him put the
love him.
ball out.
Yep.
Knees not down yet.
No, because he
He's
gave
just-
himself up. That's the thing, is he gave himself up, which is where, while extending the ball, and he just knew, like, clock will keep running when I do this as the ball is, like, you could not slide better than that. You physically could not slide better than that in terms of ball location and where you slid.
No, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. Ball's passed, knees not down. I'm going to go out of bounds. I'm going to be sliding. If he hits me, I get a flag. It's over anyways. Like, it's all good.
He should be down when he starts the slide. Correct. But if I recall the rule correctly, he's ruled down, but the ball is spotted where it is as he's ruled down, if that makes sense, right? So if it's extended, like the ball is not placed where his knee was. The ball is placed where the ball was when he started his slide. And he extended first and then started his slide because he's smart.
Very smart. Oh, Michael Asher, Panthers don't have any deep threats. No, it's not that the Panthers don't have any deep threats. I'm as big as a Terrace fan as you're going to find, but Sam Darnold was throwing the ball, which,
Yeah.
gotta have two halves for that connection to work. I think they do have deep threats, but their offense is not a deep strike offense right now. It is a, dump and go passing game and a power running game, both inside and outside. And that's what they've settled into, and that's what they believe. Do they have deep threats? Hell yeah. Like DJ Moore is a great deep threat. He is a good player down the field. Uh-oh, chunking up yards. That's going to grind some clock down to the 2-minute warning.
Yep. If they get one more first down, game's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
game's
no.
basically over anyway, but still.
Yeah. I think they have deep weapons, Michael, and thank you for the $4.99, by the way. I don't think I don't have any faith late in a game on the road for Sam Darnold to hit deep shots to those weapons, if that makes sense.
I think DJ Moore is a deep threat, as you say, if there's somebody who can get him the ball deep.
Agreed. And Terrace Marshall, same thing. Like, yeah, that guy can go down the boundary and get the ball for sure, but somebody's got to lay it up there pretty accurately. Might not be Sam Darnold.
This is a great day for Lions fans. Whose pick do they own? Do they own Seattle's pick?
No, I don't think so.
Why is it a great... I'm sure there's something obvious that I'm missing. Why is it a great day for Lions fans?
Gorgeous day for Lions fans. Whose pick do they have?
I can't remember.
That's not... Who'd they trade up with to get Trey? Was it Detroit? I'm thinking.
The thing is, there's so many trades already leading into this next draft. I can't remember who. Oh, for potential playoff spot. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking draft.
Yeah.
I'm used to thinking draft when it comes to the Lions. I'm not used to thinking playoff positioning.
All of a sudden the chats turn into Jim Morris Sr.
Playoffs?
Playoffs? So that was another nice job pressing the block. But there were too many guys there. That's not his fault. He pressed the block, but there was 3-4 defenders coming because they're selling out for the run.
Yeah, they're max fitting that.
They're just everybody downhill. So he beat one, he beat two. He's getting to try to get around the corner on 3. Nah, just too many guys.
How does this game affect LeBron's legacy?
Yeah, I saw that. It's classic. Oh, we love you, chat. We do love you. Still 430 people hanging out with us for the bitter end of this one. We deeply appreciate it. This series has been a lot of fun this year. Although all the games have not been that much fun, I look forward to these. I think Thursday nights. Look out. Look out. Broken.
There it is. Now, does he go down
no,
before the goal line?
He ran out of gas and stopped the clock. Oh, my God. He needs oxygen so bad. He had them beat clearly.
I respect him for trying to score.
Yeah, and then he just, woo.
I respect it. I respect it.
Oh, for sure. You know, you tell an NFL player you can score a touchdown, especially a guy that's a backup. He's going to take it.
Yeah,
he's
I mean, game's over anyway. But
yeah, he's like, I beat the safety. I earned it. Look who's chasing him.
Nwosu. Again.
Nwosu is
and did you see Tariq just striding out?
Well, he knows he's going to make the DK highlight play, right?
All 3 of them.
Wham.
It looks like a cheetah chasing down a gazelle.
Yep. This one's in the bag for the 49ers. A very impressive game for this 49ers team. And also, I got to say, an impressive game for the Seahawks, given what they are and who they are. This game is basically within a touchdown to the final minute. Was it ever really that close? No, as you mentioned, you know, if the penalty doesn't get called for roughing the passer, this game gets out of hand early with a defensive score from San Francisco. They could have done it. They didn't. You know, I would say the team we expected to win won. And, you know, the Hawks still showed a lot. It's much like the game last week with the Giants and the Eagles. You know, in this case, the Seahawks are the Giants, and they're looking across the sideline and going, well, we know what we need to do. We need to get closer to a team that looks like that in some really key areas, defensive line, cough, cough. And the 49ers maintain their momentum. Brock Purdy looks fully entrenched as the starter. I don't think there's any way you pull him out of the lineup, no matter who's healthy at this point. You are rolling with him at this point, and he has your fate in his hands, and it looks really well taken care of at this point, which is an insane thing to say for a guy in his 3rd NFL game. But look at him. He's like, yeah, I might shower. I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm just going to hit the plane, go home, you know, catch a movie, show up at the facility tomorrow, you know, regular stuff.
Yeah. And with that win, the 49ers have clinched the NFC West, so they have punched their ticket to the playoffs. The only question now is how high will their seed be? It might be a little tough for them with, 3 games left to go to catch Philly. Are they tied with Minnesota right now? Let me look it up.
Standings. Let me reset this. And we should show the slips one more time before we get out of here. Huge thanks to Prize Picks for making all of this possible. Like I said, we've had a lot of fun with this series. We would have had none of it without Prize Picks. Period. Yes. Zero. End of story. They made this possible. So huge shout out to them. If you want to tail the slips, don't forget, use the code bootleg. But let's see how we did on those slips one more time before we hit the trail.
So let's see how much we made. So we hit the over on our second half slip, so we're positive because I just did a 20 for me and a 20 for you, so we're up $20 as it is. Let's see, you got CMC, you got DK. I don't know if you got Jordan Brooks.
No, he got 8.
So you got 3 there.
3 out of 5 would match the slip. I mean, we basically paid for our slip, right?
Net positive. Yeah, we paid for the slip. So net positive of $28. And then missed on IU, got CMC, missed on Purdy. Fuck that one up. So we are positive for the day. I will take that because minus 40 plus plus $28. I'll take it.
Sure.
Compared to last week, I'll take it.
If Jordan Brooks didn't get hurt, which, look, it's the NFL, it happens. He already had 8. The idea that he wouldn't have gotten 3 more through the rest of that carnage.
Yeah.
And then we would have been, what was 4 out of 5 on a $20 slip?
4 out of 5. That was pays $40.
Yeah, so we would have been up like $68
which is literally over double our money.
Yeah, if Brooks doesn't get dinged. And look, linebacker, physical game, got a stinger. Nothing against Jordan Brooks, but he was well on pace to get over his tackle number. Happens sometimes. So broke even
on the season. Again,
Oh.
I put in $100 at the beginning of the year, and then because I used our own promo code, it matched it at $100. And I am up $978 on the season. So we're almost at $1,000, and that's before tonight. So I think we're over $1,000 on the season in winnings.
Uh-oh. Hang on. Sorry, EJ, the Purdy under on underdog was 221 instead of 200, so it hit.
Oh, that's brutal.
Okay, Bearden. I hope you're having a good time with Brett's other sponsor, Underdog. We love the guys at Underdog, guys and gals.
What's interesting is I've won more on Prize Picks this year.
Well,
because of how the difference in lines are. I happen to win more on Prize Picks, and so I'm like literally almost 10 times winnings.
Yeah, I have to say that doing the slip for tonight's game, because of all the uncertainty about how the Seahawks offense would do against such a great, basically the best defense in the NFL. The uncertainty about which Jack in the Box would pop up for the 49ers this week besides CMC. CMC I felt pretty solid about that pick, but dealer's choice as to who hits or goes off next to him. So many of the lines on so many of the players, offense and defense, were right at it was grueling to put that slip together because I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's how many he's going to get. So what do I bet? Which is exactly where you want to, as an odds maker, place the line so you get action on both sides. But this one was tougher than most weeks as I looked through those lines. I was like, well, okay. Yeah.
Well, if you guys want to fill out your own slips for the Sunday and Monday slates, again, our promo code down below, bootleg, will match whatever deposit you happen to make up to the first $100. So, it's actually not that hard to. I mean, maybe I'm just lucky this year. I've had success. Maybe you will too. So, if you feel like getting in on the action for Sunday or Monday, and then of course we're going to be back next Thursday for Jaguars Jets. Super intriguing matchup. Actually, really interested in that game. Like a lot.
Yeah.
Very, very interested in that game. Our Thursday fortunes have turned around as of late.
A little bit.
We'll be back a half hour before kickoff next Thursday, going straight through the end of the game. So hope you guys join us for that. And until then, later.
Take care.